I would.
I see where you're going.
But I would tell. I'm sorry. I would tell one, and then they would repeat it, and they would repeat it, and they would repeat it, and they would repeat it.
They do that in elementary school. Where
is that right?
Tell one kid a sentence and then see what it's like at the end of the
reason is, as a news reporter, when you go out to a crime scene, you're going to get varying accounts of what happened.
Right.
And that illustrates it better than anything.
Yes.
So anyway, there's always going to be some of that, and I don't really think. I think the real discrepancy here is the Palins and the party people. There's a major. And who has the most?
So who do we believe?
Well, I would say based on Sarah Palin's track record with honesty.
And then there was video, and then there wasn't.
Yeah, well, the one guy said he thought there was video.
I can't imagine.
They said the woman's name, shot the video. And I found her, but it wasn't her.
I figured you were doing like.
Yeah, she said you're the fifth person to contact me. I was not at that party. I'm not. Yeah.
Well, didn't it say that Sarah was just sitting in the vehicle the whole time?
That is yes. And when they wanted to get Track out of the vehicle, he would not come out, and he was belligerent. And then Sarah said, "No, go ahead and talk to the police." Yeah. So, but she did come out eventually, according to
the way I read it was that her and Todd were out yelling at everybody with everybody else.
Well, Todd certainly.
Yeah, right.
I never really read anything about Sarah. I wonder why they didn't interview Sarah Todd.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I guess we'll get into this first. But the biggest story is Willow, who's 20, Bristol, who's what, 24, 25, and then Track, heavily intoxicated. Now, I don't know how you guys are around your parents.
Was Willow intoxicated?
Yeah, no, there's
wow.
Yeah, no, she was not heavily intoxicated, but she was. There was one report this is the cop now.
Oh, right.
That she was intoxicated. The Track and Bristol were heavily intoxicated, according to the police report.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about you, Brian. I don't know about you, Bonnie. But I could never be heavily intoxicated around my parents.
That's awkward.
It's very awkward, especially when I'm 20.
Yeah. I cannot imagine.
Well, I mean, at least not right before bed.
Well, I mean, just anywhere in any setting. I don't think I would want my children, even if they are in their 20s, heavily intoxicated anywhere in public.
Right, around me especially.
Around me, yeah.
Yeah, if I was with a group and that many people were intoxicated, it's time to go home. You want to babysit them?
Yeah. That really struck me as what's going on with this Palin family?
They're all one happy family.
Now, there's no indication, because I think it's unfair that the media says the Palin family was involved in a drunken brawl. There's no evidence that Todd or Sarah were intoxicated. And frankly, I don't think Sarah Palin's probably ever been intoxicated in her life. She doesn't seem like that type of person.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's unfair to accuse them, like the whole family's, stumbling, bumbling drunk,
right.
And they show up, hey,
It didn't even sound like to me they were invited. I don't know. Did it sound like?
No. Well, they definitely weren't wanted after the.
Right, they were told.
Did you read
leave.
the police report, Brian?
No, but from the original story, it sounded like it was Iron Dog Friends, and Todd was part of that group. So I don't see why they wouldn't be invited.
Yeah, I think they were probably initially welcomed, but once Bristol and Willow and Track were obviously so drunk that they were swinging at people and using very foul language and pushing people. And
sounds like she was goaded into it. Not that that's an excuse. But the guy was like, come on, go ahead, hit me.
Well, when you're drunk, it's easy to goad somebody.
Sure.
And
then, that felt good, do it again.
Yeah. I will tell you this, and I'll tell you, we got to take a break, but I have I think the big story here is what we'll talk about next, because there is a big component to this story that I don't think we've addressed yet. 6:14. We'll also tell you about the guy who died and then is no longer dead. It is an amazing story.
Miracle.
Well, it's a gut-wrenching story.
Wow.
Frankly. 6:14. Dan Fagan. Glen Biegel's off today. Bonnie Cameron right here. Our number 569-1080. Brian's smiling. It always scares me when Brian's smiling. He's like you, always smiling. It's a perfect mix. I'm a grumpy old man, You guys are young and happy and
Glenn's
smiling all the time. Glenn's real serious. It's just a perfect mix. 614.
44 years old, young.
That's right.
Perfect mix. 614.
44 years old, young.
That's right.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. Give him a call. 569-1080. KOAN.
There is in every true woman's heart a spark of heavenly fire, which lies dormant in the broad daylight of prosperity, but which kindles up and beams and blazes in the dark hour of adversity. The 2014 Alaska Women's Summit, the University of Alaska, Anchorage College of Health, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski, and State Senator Liesl McGuire are calling on Alaska's brightest women to come together to work on finding answers to the toughest questions facing Alaskan women and families. Join us for 2 days, October 16th and 17th, focusing on building communities of change, self-advocacy, and removing the glass ceiling. Learn how empowerment and mentorship are vital tools in fostering successful young women. Presented by GCI. Also sponsored by Saltsha, ConocoPhillips, and BP. Register online today, AlaskaWomenSummit.com. The 2014 Alaska Women's Summit. Come and spark your fire.
Hi, my name is Mike Ferris, president of Alaska Enterprise Solutions. We are the face of Xerox in Alaska. Xerox is a trendsetter, and AES Xerox is following in those footsteps. We are the document management experts, specializing in short-term rentals of copies.
Trip is the son.
We have offices in Anchorage and Fairbanks, and we are your Xerox professional agency.
As a mom?
And worldwide support. You can reach us at aesalaska.com or 561-5100.
Being a business owner isn't easy. There's managing people, customers, income, expenses, unexpected issues, growing your brand, and so much more. Ready to be more efficient in everything you do? Then listen to Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Each week, David gives you the inside scoop on the latest business news and trends, along with tools for keeping your business on track. Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. on Hot Talk, KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 a.m. Hot Talk, KOAN, man.
You're on with Fagan and...
Welcome back, Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Biegel's out today. He will be back tomorrow. Oh, no, he won't be. He'll be back Monday, hopefully.
If he's back tomorrow, then he's a one-man show.
569-1080 is the number. We're broadcasting to you this morning on KOAN and KVNT. And we're also streaming on danfagan.us. You can actually watch us and you can hear us on that website, danfagan.us. So back to the Palin brawl and the police report, and I don't know. When I'm getting up and I'm doing my little preparations in the morning, I'm thinking, do people even care? And then when I go to adn.com and I realize there's 70,000 comments on that one story, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
From all over the world, or
well, yeah, probably.
Just Anchorage.
Probably. No, and then you Google Sarah Palin under news,
mm-hmm.
and I mean everybody's got it. ABC,
New
York Times. Oh, this doesn't get any better for the mainstream media.
Do you think that's why they waited so long to talk about it? Because they weren't really talking about it at first.
Well, no, the police
They wanted
report.
the police report.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah.
And I read a lot of the comments on ADN.com, and the general consensus is from the people who, let's be honest, these people really don't like Sarah Palin.
Mm-hmm.
But their consensus is that had this happened in Mountain View to regular folks, somebody'd be in jail.
Oh.
That you cannot get in a fight out in the street, all bloodied up. You can't hit a guy in the face 5 times without somebody going to jail.
Well, it just makes me think there was, some truth to the other side, though, because he wouldn't press, the homeowners side, because, he shouldn't be brawling with a 20-something-year-old anyway.
Yeah.
He should have been mature enough to say.
Well, he wasn't brawling with Bristol.
Well, I think he was goading her. Not brawling, but He was definitely goading her.
Because he said, if you want to hit me, you can hit me.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the way I read the police report, is that her and Willow come storming across the lawn saying, I'm going to kick this girl's ass.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bristol's looking to fight this girl, and he intervened.
Was that his wife that she was wanting to go after?
I have no idea.
Wow, I read the whole thing, and it's still unclear.
Well, there's different counts. This is I've read many police reports. This is a typical police report. But the there's Brian. Look at Brian on TV. How about that? the Bristol's looking for trouble. She wants to hurt somebody, and this guy said, this is not going to happen in my house.
Yeah.
And then she says, and then he said, if you want to hit me, you can hit me, but you're not her. So she starts swinging at him. That's not goading.
I still don't. I mean, even in Mountain View, if I don't hear of many women being arrested for fighting.
Well, it doesn't make the news.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. It doesn't make the news. There are people arrested for assault all the time.
Yeah. Well, that could be true.
And you never hear about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a couple of things that really stood out to me, and then I'll tell you what I think is the big picture on all this. The heavily intoxicated, in public.
It's trashy.
Yeah. And, it's not like people it's not like people don't know who you are.
Yeah. And if you know your son has an issue with that anyway, why would you take him out and help him be that way?
Now you say...
That was bad judgment.
Are you saying that
on the Palin's,
track has
Palin parents' part?
Are you saying track has a substance abuse problem?
I don't know that, but it sounds like it.
No, you're giving me the smile like I'm not going to tell you what I really know. I cannot wait to take your money in poker.
Oh.
I cannot wait. I mean, I know that she knows some more here, and she's got that smile like
I'm more innocent than you.
No, there's something that you know that you're not.
I can look more innocent. No. I mean, just from what I've heard.
Dig.
Yes. Where's my shovel?
Okay, well, we'll leave that alone because that's just gossip.
No, it sounds like to me anybody who's out there and
heavily intoxicated.
Yes. Has an issue.
Yeah.
And then getting violent. It's not like this is the first time he's gotten drunk. Probably. I'm assuming.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the first time he ever tried alcohol.
I mean, I'm sure they've seen him or heard of.
Well, Brian, your daughter's how old?
She's 16.
Okay, so let's say 4 years from now, you and her going to a party, and she just getting so liquored up, she can't even stand. Are you going to say? I mean, are you going to let her get to that place when she's with Daddy?
Well, she would be safe if she wanted to get there. Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't. I don't know.
You wouldn't say, honey, I think you've.
If we were out in public, I'd be like, yeah, let's go home.
Yeah. You've had enough.
If we were at home, I'd be like,
we're
let's
not
go to bed.
To another
you need
party.
to go to bed, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's time to chill out.
Yeah. I mean, heavily intoxicated is a strong term, and police used it for Bristol and Track. And then they also said Willow appeared to be intoxicated, who is 20, which I don't know what the law is on that. I mean, I know you can't go and buy alcohol at 20, but you could. I know in Louisiana, my nephew can drink, who's actually just turned 21, but he could drink from 18 on if it was at his house.
Yeah. You're not even supposed to buy it for people.
Well, no, I know
21.
that. No, I know
that. So obviously her parents knew she'd gotten it from somewhere.
Well, but I think, I don't know, in Louisiana, if you're 18 to 21, you can drink at your house. But you can't buy it. Here. Is the law is you can't consume alcohol at all? 21 and under?
Yeah, even with your parents. Yeah.
That's just stupid, I think. When you send somebody to war and they can't have a beer.
Yeah. Well,
come on.
Go to France. I mean, I think 12-year-olds can drink wine for breakfast.
Oh, it is true. It is true.
They're ordering an ale with their eggs.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that, and I wonder. I was kind of curious also why they did not record the interview with Willow.
Oh yeah, because a lot of it was taped. Interview.
Well, that's police always wear audio recording device on them.
Okay.
So whenever they talk to them, they just hit a little button on their vest and it starts recording.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That way you can verify. If you got to go to court.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, so to me that's the heavily intoxicated thing is very disturbing. But to me, the big picture here is, and when I was in Northern California. When people found out I was from Alaska, oh, what's Sarah Palin like? Do you know Sarah Palin? Can you get her to come here? All this kind of stuff. And it was a conservative area. It was a rural area. But I think this is the final nail.
Do ya?
I do. I just don't think, because, her persona is, I'm conservative, that's why the media beats up on me. And that is true.
Mm-hmm.
But this is her. This is her family.
Maybe even if it would have just been the kids there at the party.
Very different.
Yeah, but her being there.
Very different.
Yeah, I said it from the beginning. She should have said, remember who we are, and they need to act like it. You know, they've got a big responsibility. It's not fun and games.
Too much is given, much is required.
That's right.
When you are elevated to a position, you have to realize that your life has to be lived differently.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And this is these athletes who say, I'm not a role model, I don't want to be a role model. Well, guess what? You're a role model.
Right.
And if you make good decisions, it's going to influence people. If you make bad decisions.
It's honestly a disgrace. I cannot ever, I try to, stick up for them and, the media's giving them a bad rap, but this is going just too far.
I wonder, right after her vice presidential run, she wanted a book tour, and she was going to be a bookstore right by my mother's house, and she agreed to meet with my mom, which I thought was very nice of her, especially after the hell I put Sarah Palin through. And my mom was so excited, because this is my mom listens to my show every day, so she knows how I'm so critical of her. But, to meet a vice presidential nominee is a big deal for my mom. So my mom went, and my brother-in-law went, my sister and their family, and they all got to go meet her, and she was very nice. It was a very nice thing. I wonder, I'll call my mother after the show and ask her. I said, Mom, after all that's transpired, would you still want to meet with her?
Right. That'll give you a mood of the country.
I wonder what she'd say. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to picture my husband. My husband would be like, son, you are out of control, and we're going home.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just, that's a tough one. Because, we weren't there. But I can't see putting myself in that situation at all, or putting my kids in that situation. And they know, they're kind of a rough crowd. They're tough guys.
Iron Dog people.
Yeah.
Snow machines.
They knew what they were heading into.
Well, and they're all very sophisticated, to be honest. A lot of these guys are engineers.
No, that's sure.
It costs a lot of money. You got $10,000 a sled. You need 4 of them so you can practice. They have their stuff together. So I think this meant to be a friendly, hey, celebration, and just something weird happened, and they got boiled up in something. They don't go around trying to do things like this,
No, I agree.
No, but maybe I shouldn't have said rough. It's tough. They're tough guys.
Yeah, they're not going to be talking about art and paintings. There's not going to be croissants served. Right?
Caviar. And
no caviar.
Champagne.
Not going to have classical music on in the background.
Right.
Some PBR,
PBR. I love peanut butter and jelly. Oh, you weren't talking about
PBR. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I think I even knew that.
PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon. See, my head goes just straight to food.
Not PB&J.
You love PB&J, huh?
Oh.
Is it grape jelly you like?
Actually, I like strawberry with crunchy peanut butter.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Really? You going to bring me a PB&J?
Put it in the vault.
Wow.
I'll bring some
Well,
ice.
I'll be honest with you. The greatest gift I've ever been given is from Bonnie.
Wait a minute. What about the ice I brought you?
That was
close.
good. That was the cheapest gift he's ever been given.
That pillow that you bought for me at the State Fair.
Oh, good.
That just changed my life. And I think
I never know if I should believe you.
No, I'm serious. I think I did have sleep apnea because this pillow elevates my head to the point where I don't think I snore anymore. I have not woken up, with this. Huh? What?
Oh, like hearing yourself snore.
I used to do that all the time.
We should do a live broadcast of you sleeping.
We should. I should actually do a commercial for this pillow. What was the name of it?
It's the original bamboo pillow.
Oh, and it's soft but firm, and it's big.
It's like crushed up what is it? The memory foam.
Oh, okay.
It's like ripped up memory foam or something.
I just absolutely love it.
Good.
How much it cost you?
I don't know. It was cheap. Yeah. 20-something.
Wow. Oh, see, I'm easy to please. 569-1080. Glen Biegel is off today. A little under the weather. He'll be back on Monday. Bonnie Cameron, Dan Fagan here with you. 569-1080. this story about this fellow who died and yet wasn't dead. This is an amazing story. It's the most amazing story you'll hear all week. That's next. Stay with us. That's next. Stay with us.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
With KOAN News, I'm Ann Kenda. The young man from the western Alaska village of Shagaluk, accused of killing his parents, has been arraigned in Bethel. Bail was set at $500,000 for Everett Simone, a 21-year-old who was described as having snapped and gone after his parents with an axe. 46-year-old Flossie Simone and 57-year-old John Arrow were described as valued members of the small community. Federal investigators are on the University of Alaska Anchorage campus today to look at how the school handles allegations of sexual assault. It's part of a standard review taking place at colleges around the country. A Juneau man has been formally charged with the theft of $41,000 in jewelry from a Costco. 31-year-old Joseph John Finn is accused of hiding in the store until employees went home for the night, then smashing open the jewelry case. That's your Hot Talk News Update.
Rain for today, high 43. Tonight, cloudy skies with a bit of rain, low 35. Tomorrow, cloudy with occasional rain, high 46. Tomorrow night, low 35. Mostly cloudy with some rain on Sunday, high 44. Monday, mostly cloudy, high 44. Tuesday, high 40. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Parking space 105A. To many, it's just 130 square feet of publicly allotted tarmac. Unless you own a 2014 Mercedes-Benz CLA. With its muscular, seductive look and distinctive diamond block grille, that parking space is transformed into a stage that showcases to others what groundbreaking style can be. And as you pull away, thanks to the turbocharged inline-4 engine, parking space 105A transforms again, this time into a launching pad. See the world differently. See it in a CLA from Mercedes-Benz, whose vehicles retain their value better than any other premium brand, according to ALG. Get the 2014 CLA 254 Matic starting at just $31,900.
MSRP for a 2014 CLA 254 Matic excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, final availability, and actual dealer price may vary. Some equipment described as optional. See dealer for details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
It's said that character is what you do when no one is watching. If that's the case, then Senator Kathy Giesel has the sort of character that is needed in Juneau. Away from the photo ops or flashy media events, Kathy Giesel hits the books just like she did in nursing school. For the past 4 years, Senator Giesel has worked hard for you, studying the impact of greater access to immunizations for Alaska's kids, crafting legislation that frees up business owners to expand and hire more Alaskans, and working to improve the infrastructure like roads and schools. Not just for this generation, but for generations of Alaskans to come. This election is more than just about promises or bullet points. It's about sending the right person to Juneau with the character to act on behalf of us when we can't watch. We need someone with the character to do the hard work when no one is watching, to make decisions we can trust. We need to re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel.
Paid for by re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel for Senate. 12701 Ridgewood Road, Anchorage, Alaska, 99516.
There's a lot of so-called experts out there claiming to have the key to success in business for a price. Are you ready for real business advice you can trust without a fee? Then don't miss Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Advice from people in the know. Technology, finance, taxes, and more. Business people helping business people take their skills and services to the next level. Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. on Hot Talk, KOAN, 95.1 FM and 1080 a.m.
When Malarkey Mark Begich ran for U.S. Senator, he made a lot of claims about his record as Anchorage mayor. Begich knew the truth wouldn't come to light before the election. But now, history is caught up with Malarkey Mark. Under Begich, Anchorage taxes went up 27%. Under Begich, the city budget ballooned, a $142 million increase in spending. Under Begich, the city was saddled with unprecedented 5-year union contracts. Under Begich, a deficit of over $20 million was left for the next mayor to deal with. Begich left Anchorage in serious trouble. Alaska's Energy, America's Values paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
When I grew up, I wanted to be a pro basketball player.
An elementary school teacher. Oh, an Olympic gymnast.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything from auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream. For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
I just can't imagine someone not liking Brian.
Impossible.
I just don't see how it's possible.
Well, if they're rude to me, I'm not nice anymore.
I don't think you can not be nice.
Well, I don't go out of my way to be mean.
Yeah, but I don't see you as someone who would ever treat someone poorly.
No, I would rather ignore them.
Yeah.
And you could still smile and nod, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see you doing that.
I'm professional.
You are. You're the epitome of professionalism.
Except for my hat. But that's my job requirement.
You have to wear a hat?
Yeah, can I wear my hat? Because I hate combing my hair. It's just, yeah.
That must be nice.
At least you got hairs to comb.
I don't get to do that.
Yeah. You could wear a hat.
You can wear a hat.
What time do you get up in the mornings?
I got to be here at 6, somewhere around 5:54.
That must be nice. How about you, Brian?
4.
Oh,
no,
well, you have to get here early.
Well, I've got another job that I didn't tell you guys about.
You deliver papers?
No, actually my landlord that trains the canines, the police dogs,
yes,
German Shepherds.
Yes.
Whenever he leaves town, which is a lot, I kind of help take care of the dogs too. So.
And he pays you for that?
Yeah, he gives me he used to give me money off my rent, and then he just lowered my rent.
Wow.
So what job does that make? At what number?
Job? I guess if you count that would be 9.
9.
I don't count it because they're like my puppies, you know.
Yeah, I just figured that's the only other job that would be up that early.
Would you think you're being kind of selfish?
Why is that?
I mean, a lot of people need work. You're sitting there grabbing all these jobs up, hoarding them.
I'm not applying for any of them. It
doesn't matter. Those are 8 other people that could be working.
They couldn't do what I do.
True equality
train them.
You would actually give people your jobs.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if Barack Obama would favor a cap on jobs.
Oh yeah, that'll be nice.
He would. No, I bet he would. You know, you could have maybe 3.
Right.
Yeah. But anything past 3, I'm sorry, we're gonna need to quit one of those.
And you'll have to live off the government.
Yeah, I'd trade them all for one.
You are Obama's worst.
Same.
You are Obama's worst nightmare, Brian.
I should quit all my jobs. Then I'd be his best nightmare.
That's right. 569-1080. Okay, this is just an amazing story. A guy named Judas Priest. He's 29 years old. Lives out in South Anchorage. His family, his parents, get word that their son, who's a biologist who travels the state quite a bit, was killed in a car accident in Juneau. They go to the family's house at middle of the night, 3 in the morning. Troopers arrive and say, "We're sorry, but Justin had been killed the night before in a Juneau traffic accident."
Mm.
The parents said the troopers were very professional as they spoke outside in the front yard. The dad steadied himself and went in to tell his wife. He's 63. He said it was the saddest day of his life. He said it would not have been unusual for Justin, a biologist, to travel to Juneau. The priest, meaning that's their name, the family, called the Juneau Police Department to confirm the identification, and they confirmed it was their son. They began to call family members. It was especially difficult because one family member had just lost a relative a couple of months earlier in a car accident. he said that was the hardest part. Mr. Priest said the hardest part was telling a family member who had lost a loved one months ago in a car accident. They drove in Anchorage. They lived out in the valley. They drove into Anchorage middle of the night to tell their other son, Cody, in person. After picking up Cody, they went to Justin's home to break the news to Justin's girlfriend, Julia, who lived there. The two had been together for 5 years, and she's a part of the family, Jay and Karen Priest said. On the way, they prayed in the car and discussed how they planned to help her deal with the loss as much as they could, both financially and otherwise. They arrive at Justin's house, and Justin steps out of the front door.
Oh.
The parents and children hugged, cried, and told each other how much they loved each other. The father says, I was shocked and astonished and had to keep grabbing him and hugging him. The saddest day became the happiest. I never cried so much in my life. That's a 63-year-old father. What happened was that there's a guy, same age, Justin Priest, who lives in Juneau, that was actually killed. It's a mistaken identity. The Juneau police got it wrong.
Oops.
So
they
had to call the police and say, you got the wrong guy. So the Juneau police now has to contact the other family.
And do it all over.
So
it's really sad either way. I mean,
terrible,
not
tragic.
either way, but the dad, then you know the pain that somebody else is about to go through.
Justin that morning heard knocking at the door. He was already awake because his yellow lab puppy needed to go to the bathroom. Justin opened the door and found his parents and his brother. They had been grief-stricken. Now they were shocked. Justin! The dad shouted. It's Justin! Can you imagine? Praise Jesus, we thought you were dead. That's what they said. You're alive, his mother shouted.
Can you imagine what Justin was thinking?
They wondered if this was real.
Oh, no.
Justin, who was not fully awake, had no idea why his parents and brother were shouting and crying. He thought his neighbors will think they were all crazy. In the minutes to follow, Jay and Karen Priest explained that they had just driven to Anchorage from Palmer, trying to fathom the worst news of their lives. Can you imagine that drive?
Is it priest or priest?
Priest.
Oh, okay.
Like the Catholic priest word. Can you imagine the time between I guess it was 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. No, thinking your son and your brother had died. Can you imagine? And then to see him walk out the door.
That's crazy. And I'm thinking about all the people they called and all the people they called and all the it gets out on Facebook or whatever, and wow, that's a lot of having to go back.
Yeah, they called relatives all night.
Oh.
Hardest part was telling a family member who had lost a loved one just 1 month ago in a car accident. Then you go to drive to Cody's house, the brother. And now the Juneau Police Department, they feel terrible. The police chief has said, this has never happened as far as he knows. And, of course, they had to go contact the real...
that's wild.
We got a phone call. I'm sorry. I'm going to take Paul's call here in a minute, but I got to take a break. We'll take Paul's call right after this. 569-1080. 569-1080. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Our good friend Keith Montanak over at Specialty Truck and Auto. He's a mechanic you can trust. He's so good at what he does. You want trustworthiness in a mechanic because, let's face it, most of us go into a mechanic blind. We don't know what's wrong with our car. We don't know, we're very vulnerable. But Keith Montanak will not take advantage of that. He's a good, trustworthy, honest man. He's a great man, frankly. Keith Montanak, Specialty Truck and Auto, right across the street from the Long Branch Saloon off of Abbott. Right there where Abbott turns into Diamond. His number is 349-1637. 349-1637. We're going to take Paul's call right after this. Our number, 569-1080. 569-1080. You're listening to Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Glen's off today. He'll be back on Monday. 6:44 is the time. Bonnie. Glen's off today. He'll be back on Monday. 6:44.
Don't you give them a call. 569-1080. Join the conversation. KOAN.
There is in every true woman's heart a spark of heavenly fire, which lies dormant in the broad daylight of prosperity, but which kindles up and beams and blazes in the dark hour of adversity. The 2014 Alaska Women's Summit, the University of Alaska, Anchorage College of Health, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski and State Senator Liesl McGuire are calling on Alaska's brightest women to come together to work on finding answers to the toughest questions facing Alaskan women and families. Join us for 2 days, October 16th and 17th, focusing on building communities of change, self-advocacy, and removing the glass ceiling. Learn how empowerment and mentorship are vital tools in fostering successful young women. Presented by GCI. Also sponsored by Salt Shack, ConocoPhillips, and BP. Register online today, AlaskaWomenSummit.com. The 2014 Alaska Women's Summit. Come and spark your fire.
Alaskans have waited decades for a natural gas pipeline. But now, we've made historic progress on Alaska's gas line, thanks to the leadership of Governor Sean Parnell. Engineers are designing the line right now. We have the gas, we have the route, and we have the offtakes to supply energy for Alaska communities. But Bill Walker doesn't like it. He called the Alaska LNG project fatally flawed and wants to study the plan or renegotiate it, which will add years of delays and could kill the gas line altogether. Look at Walker's track record. For years, he's pushed a pipeline plan that had no permits, no gas, no sellers, and no buyers. The Alaska LNG project is underway. Let's stick with the plan that's working and the governor who's making it happen, Sean Parnell. Paid for by Parnell Sullivan 2014, Box 100719 Anchorage.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call, 569-1080.
6:47 in the morning on a Friday. Congratulations, you made it to Friday. Glad you found the Fagan Biegel Bonnie show on this 10th day of October. We're getting close to that election day, aren't we?
Creeping up.
Let's see here. This is the 10th. We got all next week, the week after, and then the Tuesday after that. The 3 week. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 weeks from today. I'll be moderating the governor's debate out in the valley. The Matsu Business Alliance is going to have a debate between Parnell and Walker, and I'll be moderating that.
How difficult is it going to be for you?
Well, no, I employ this rule with my talk show. Anytime I have two candidates on the show, my thought is they can fend for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I go straight down the middle. I take off my talk show hat.
Yeah.
And I put on my journalism hat.
Yeah.
If I got two candidates in the room at the same time, I am not going to show my bias or go after either one of them unfairly. Sometimes I think psychologically I will actually be tougher on the guy or gal I agree with just to prove that I'm not being biased, which I hate doing that too, but I think that happens. So,
and I think it strengthens them.
So Parnell probably needs to worry about
candidates.
me more than Walker.
I think he probably is.
569-1080. Let's go to Paul. Paul, you're on.
Hey, Dan, hold on just a second here. I wanted to give something to your listeners for them to look at, and I gave the websites to Brian.
Yes.
Who, by the way, was very professional. I might agree with you on.
Brian, professional?
I thought he was exceptional.
We're not real happy with him, to be honest with you.
We'll let you do these ones.
Yeah, but don't keep that to yourself.
All right, so let me give out the sites if I might real quick. It's ECAT.
What is this about, Paul?
Well, they discovered a new form of energy, and it's breaking the known laws of physics. What's unique about what I'm telling you this morning is that they did a third-party independent study. That study was done by a major...
What kind of energy is it?
Well, I really like to give you the sites first because I'm supposed to be working. But...
Well, just tell me what it is.
Well, I think some people refer to it as cold fusion, but it's really not that. So they're asking the young men to not use that term.
So it's coal or cold?
Cold, C-O-L-D.
Oh, so it's using cold weather to produce energy.
No, when you look at, like, most of your big energy is hot, like the sun or the atom bomb. But when you can produce large amounts of energy at nearly room temperature or lesser temperature, it's called cold fusion.
Okay, and so is it employed anywhere currently?
Is it employed now?
Yes, anywhere.
Well, yes. A major company, I think it was called, the Cherokee Corporation just purchased the IP rights for America, I think, they're a $2 billion corporation.
So is it being employed currently anywhere?
Well, my understanding is in a factory, and yes, but some of that's proprietary information or non-disclosure.
So it's being employed currently somewhere. It's actually there's cold fusion that's producing energy somewhere on the planet right now currently.
Yes, but if you go to ECAT World and look it up yourself, you'll be able to.
Well, you're calling the show to tell me about this, and you don't know about it yourself. Where is it being employed, and on what level, and who's employing it?
Okay, just a second. I do know. I've been tracking this for 30 months. I have 400 slides.
Well, just tell me. If you know about it,
sounds like a movie of spies.
And Dan, I invited 2 companies to come to Alaska.
You invited them.
I did, on behalf of Open University.
But you can't even tell me if it's being employed anywhere and who's employing it.
I'm trying to get there, Dan.
Well, it's a very simple question. It's being employed in Chile. There's 3 companies using it. It's being employed in Nebraska, 2 companies. I mean, it's a very simple answer. So who's employing it? Where's it being used?
Let's just pretend I'm not a very capable person. Let me give you the website. You can make your own decision.
No, you can't call here and pretend like you're an expert on something for 30 years.
No.
Can't we Google cold fusion?
Hold on a second. Not 30 years. It reached the late
30 months, you said.
30 months.
Okay, so you've been studying this for 30 months, and you can't tell me if it's being employed anywhere and on what level it's being employed.
Scientists around the world are now looking at this. It's supposed
to be, the answer would be nowhere, Dan.
Well, if you want to say that, I guess.
Well, I mean, I've asked the question 7 or 8 times, and yet I've yet to get an answer.
I'd rather you said that I'm just a very stupid man.
No, I didn't say you were stupid.
No, but it's my understanding that their principal party who has this in a factory now running is not willing to disclose that.
Oh, so it is being used, but they don't want anybody to know it's being used. And somehow you know this information.
I'm trying.
How is it that you know this information?
I'm trying to tell you that they just published a report on ECAT World coming out of Sweden, where the world's major leading utility energy company did the study. They have concluded that this is outside the norms of normal energy, and they're now claiming that they may have reached a new understanding of energy as we know it.
Okay, so this is a theory. It's not in practice. Somebody's excited about it. It's being tested. It's not, but it's not in operation, basically.
That's fair. I think that's a fair discussion.
Okay. So what's your point, Paul?
My point is that Alaska is a very special place. Energy is very special to us, and Alaska has a chance to have dual economies and literally restructured society overnight. This is going to be very, very quick.
So your basic point is, if this technology, which is unproven and untested, is actually legitimate and works, Alaska could be potentially a place for it.
We would be the ideal society to lead the rest of the world in its implications and applications, and our young people need to get on top, and our leaders. And by your talk show, I wanted to give the site to not predispose the representation of it.
What's the site?
The original site is ecat.com, but the one that will give you a conglomerate of links.
Oh, I like conglomerate links.
I know. ECAT World, ECAT.ECATWRLD World.
Do you have another one? Is there a third site you can tell us about?
Well, this is a much bigger picture, but I don't have time because I'm at work and I might get fired.
No, we don't want you to lose your job.
But my point
although Brian could give you one of his.
I got that, President. My point is this: that it's much, much bigger than what I'm telling you, but you have to go see this yourself, because when you first see it, it's going to be unbelievable. That's the way most new things are. They're almost magic, and society makes these leaps like this. But if we all pull together, including the oil companies, we have a chance to go someplace so special so quickly, Dan. Our children, I mean, this is huge. This is really, really big. So, but thanks for letting me call you and share it.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate the information.
I don't know about you, but when I'm cold, I just want to sleep.
You don't feel
Get under
energetic?
the covers and sleep. Now, things that are hot make you want to.
Well, you never know. You never know. Man, I'm telling you, there was a story I was reading this morning that the internet is going to be so fast, and then Brian, this applies to what the amazing things you've done with this show and getting it on the internet the way you have. But they're saying that the internet's going to be so fast someday that you're going to be able to create a virtual world in which you're going to feel like you're in the room with the person, and you're going to be able to duplicate the settings in their house virtually.
That's like Star Trek.
It is. But they say the internet, there's things, you look at some of these video games, the worlds they create virtually.
Right.
It's just amazing
it's unreal,
how realistic.
Real, yeah, not unreal.
Yeah. and the internet will be so fast, you can literally, there'll be a software program where I don't know how you'd be able to input the measurements of your friend's house.
You scan it with your laser.
Probably, something like that. And then you were going to literally feel like you're sitting in the living room with them, and you're going to see them, and as they move, it'll be real time.
Until they can serve me a burger at the same time, I don't care.
There'll be no actual, it's not like you can do physical things.
Fax me a burger, and then we'll talk.
Do you believe that, Brian? Do you believe we're going to get there someday?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen stuff like that already.
So. If you would have told me that we could stream our show for 3 hours a day in high definition, I would have said there's just no way 5 years ago,
I didn't know that 3 months ago.
Yeah, it's amazing. And most people actually don't know. I think once talk shows catch on to the fact that you can now broadcast every day on the internet.
Well, and I always wanted to know what the people look like. There's so many more things that go on behind the scenes that you don't see.
Oh, so much better.
And I always wondered, what do they look like? I know their voice.
I always say I have a face for radio.
Yeah. Well, there is, Paul Harvey. Oh, he was so good. You remember Paul Harvey, right, Brian? And you know Paul Harvey.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He was so good, and he talked about the radio was the playground of the imagination, and it is true. It is true that there are things you can do that are only on radio. You can take people places that you can't take them if they're watching you.
That's true.
And so that is, I don't think that, and of course, the vast majority of people who listen to radio listen to it in their car.
Sure. Please do not watch it while you're driving.
No. Although you can on your phone if you want to.
Yeah, you can listen to YouTube.
But that would not be,
If you want to
listen to YouTube, do not watch.
If you want to be a passenger.
That would be a bad choice.
Yeah, if you're a passenger, you can watch us as your husband drives you to work every morning.
There's also red lights.
DanFagan.us. That's right.
That was really sexist, too, by the way. Why would the husband be driving? I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Well, the husband should always drive.
Yeah, chauffeur his wife everywhere.
Your husband drives everywhere, doesn't he?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Just because I prefer it that way. But there's times where he's like, I don't want to drive. You drive.
Yeah, I don't really trust women drivers, so that would be
yeah, but then he sits there and complains about my driving the whole time.
Exactly, as he should.
I'm over it. No way.
Look, women are good at a lot of stuff. Driving's not one of them. Sorry, it's just true. Hate me, send your letters to Brian Hoff.
Yes.
Oh, we were waiting for an eye roll there.
4700.
No, I was kind of agreeing.
Dana Patrick would be the one exception, I suppose. Danica Patrick. Whatever it is. 569-1080. 658. Fagan Biegel Bonnie on KVNT KOAN. 569-1080. 658. Bonnie on KVNT KOAN.
There is in every true woman's heart a spark of heavenly fire, which lies dormant in the broad daylight of prosperity, but which kindles up and beams and blazes in the dark hour of adversity. The 2014 Alaska Women's Summit, the University of Alaska, Anchorage College of Health, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski and State Senator Liesl McGuire are calling on Alaska's brightest women to come together to work on finding answers to the toughest questions facing Alaskan women and families. Join us for 2 days, October 16th and 17th, focusing on building communities of change, self-advocacy, and removing the glass ceiling. Learn how empowerment and mentorship are vital tools in fostering successful young women. Presented by GCI. Also sponsored by Saltcha, ConocoPhillips, and BP. Register online today, AlaskaWomenSummit.com. The 2014 Alaska Women's Summit. Come and spark your fire.
The Talk of the Valley, 1020 AM, KVNT, Eagle River, and retranslated at 92.5 FM on K223BJ, Eagle River.
Radio News, I'm John DeMaster. The president may use his executive power to close Gitmo. The administration saying the president unwavering in his commitment to closing the prison, with 149 dangerous terrorists being held in connection with the war on terrorism. 37 of these men designated for continued detention without trial, considered too dangerous to release. The Wall Street Journal saying the plans to transfer detainees already in the works, with some of them ending up in the United States. The Fort Hood terrorist wants the Pope to know he supports jihad. Here's the Blaze Radio's Robin Walensky.
Nidal Hassan writing a warning to the Pope about jihad. The 6-page handwritten note given to Fox News by Hassan's lawyer. While the Obama administration classifies the terrorist shooting as workplace violence, Hassan in the letter calls himself a soldier of Allah.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to the Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
A chilling warning from a top U.S. general concerning Ebola. The Blaze Radio's Chris Barnes has more from Washington.
We're already seeing it. There's no way you can keep Ebola in West Africa.
That's Chief of U.S. Southern Command Marine General John Kelly warning the Ebola virus is likely to spread into Central America and Caribbean nations.
Many countries in the Western Hemisphere have about no ability to deal with an Ebola outbreak. So much like Western Africa, it'll rage for some period of time.
And Kelly says that would spark what he calls a stampede of people over the U.S. border as they try to escape that potentially deadly disease. Kelly speaking at the National Defense University in Washington. In Washington, I'm Chris Barnes, The Blaze News.
University of Maryland researchers now announcing the first study of a possible Ebola vaccine is underway. CBS News saying 3 healthcare workers in Mali receiving experimental shots developed by the U.S. government. ISIS terrorists now taking over the Kurdish headquarters in the town of Kobani, even as U.S. airstrikes continue. Here's the Blaze Radio's Brad James with reaction.
The battle is in the streets of the town now. Military experts saying if Kobani falls to ISIS, it will be a huge advantage to them for recruiting purposes. Retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General Michael Barbero knows the territory and the battle.
Well, I mean, you can't airstrike your way out of this. And we're seeing diminishing returns on the airstrikes. The Kurds and others are frustrated with the numbers and the effectiveness because ISIS is smart. They've adapted. They move at night. They've dispersed. They go in the villages. And, you know, we've picked up the airstrikes today, but 5 airstrikes a day around Kobani is not going to make a difference. These are airstrikes. This is not an air campaign.
Barbero on Fox News Special Report with Brett Baer.
As ISIS terrorists continue gaining ground and our troops being sent to fight Ebola, the president busy fundraising in Los Angeles. Gwyneth Paltrow hosting a fundraising event at her home in Brentwood, California. I'm John DeMaster with news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
Hi, this is Jonathan Martin at Harrington & Company. Sellers, if you are going to sell your home, now may very well be the best time. The current interest rates are still very low in comparison to previous loan rates. Now is the time to take advantage of this uncommon phenomenon. We will look back at this period as a golden opportunity to buy or sell. Homeowners planning to sell should call us at 244-0821. We will be happy to come out and do a comparative market analysis at your convenience. Call Jonathan Martin at Harrington & Company, 244-0821. That's 244-0821.
Well, howdy, I'm Nick Worthington, Ford Giant, Worthington Ford. And folks, we're having a huge sale.
Right now, you can get friends and neighbors pricing automatically on these beautiful new 2014s. That's the official pricing set by Ford.
And you can use your PFD today. Take a look.
Here's a Kia Sportage for just $69.50 and a Dodge Ram 1500 for only $10,900.
Here's a Ford Expedition, just $10,900. And here's a Hummer H2, just $14,900.
And if you're looking for a new Ford, friends and neighbors pricing could save you a lot.
This is your chance to automatically qualify for Ford's Friends and Neighbors pricing, so don't miss it.
Plus, if you've got a trade-in, we need it, and we'll give you top dollar.
Everyone qualifies for this special offer, so hurry on in to Giant Worthington Ford on Gamble.
Stock numbers 07 Ram 1473068, 05 Expedition Q1771, 03H2 Q18958, 06 Sportage Q1457D. Friends and neighbors pricing excludes Raptor, MKC, and Fleet deals. On approved credit, subject to prior sale. See dealer for details. Ends 10/16/2014.
In a world where right versus left, zealot versus dogmatic, pipelines versus pipe dreams, one man steps into the gauntlet of rhetoric with flags of truth, justice, and honor. The Tom Anderson Show. Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. on KBNT 92.5 FM and 1020 AM. The Valley's only rush hour news and political forum. Are you ready to rumble? Tune in to the Tom Anderson Show on KBNT.
Fagan and Biegel, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m.
6 minutes past 7 o'clock. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. I owe Ivan Moore an apology. And I sent this, well, I put it on Amanda Coyne's blog last night. And Amanda, look, Amanda's the best reporter in the state, bar none, no doubt about it, most accurate. But she made a mistake, as all reporters do. She reported on her website the day of the election, the primary, that Ivan Moore had Prop 1 losing by 10 to 13 points. And so I gave Ivan, when he came out with his 18-point lead for the marijuana prop, I went on Amanda's blog and said, yeah, just like you said, Prop 1 was going to, pass by 10 to 13 points. And he said he never said that. So I called Amanda, and Amanda verified that she got that wrong. So I apologized on Amanda's blog to him, and I apologize to him now publicly on the radio. Amanda got it wrong, but I reported it as fact, and I should have probably called him first and said, hey, Ivan, didn't you say this?
So what was his prediction? Did he say?
He thought Prop 1 would pass. Would fail.
Right.
That's all.
Oh.
Just that he would fail. And he did get it right, completely right, on the Senate race. He was dead on.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, Ivan. Old chap. 569. I like
that's out of the way.
What's that?
I don't like to hear that.
It's funny. I
like to hear you apologize.
Well, no, I do it all the time because I mess up all the time. Look, you can't do 15 hours of live radio.
Right.
Write 3 or 4 columns a week and not make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Amanda. People. Look at the content that Amanda generates. She's gonna make a mistake. I'm gonna make a mistake. We had a doctor here the other day, this is a while back, on the show. I don't know if you had joined the show by then. And she had said that there are more people uninsured now than after Obamacare. And I repeated it as fact because I really trusted this doctor, and it turns out that was wrong. But I repeated it, so, I had to apologize for that. But, but it's very difficult. If you know anything about me, look, hate me, love me, think I'm a right-wing nut job, whatever. I promise you, it is crucial to me that I'm accurate. It is so important to me. I will never say anything that I don't believe is true. I promise you. It just kills me when I mess up like that. And it's always by accident.
Mm-hmm.
But there are things you can do to increase your accuracy level by verifying things. and not just repeating them because you heard them. Like when the doctor said that, I should have verified that, because that's such a big fact. Like we had a gal on here a couple of days ago from Colorado who said there are now more marijuana shops in Colorado than there are. Was it
McDonald's and Starbucks?
Starbucks, right? I almost said Safeway because you said
Subway.
Right.
I thought it was Subway.
No, it's Starbucks and McDonald's, and I should probably verify that, but because that's such a salacious fact.
See, I think the fact that Coloradans are less in love with the law than they were before.
Absolutely.
Like there's more that are against it now.
Yes.
They're having, she said, buyer's remorse. I think to me that is the more sticking point there.
No, 45%.
Just 9 months later.
45% opposed it on election day. 9 months later, 60% opposed it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a massive swing.
Right.
Just like our good friend Barack Obama, when he on election day, he was filling stadiums. Now, if he goes to a town to, help a candidate, they're like, no,
get out.
You
don't represent me.
Speaking of using, I'm telling you, Mark Begich, I'll tell you, he's something else. He's a piece of work, as we say back
He's
south.
Slick.
He's got this big flyer out now where it's him on one side and then Bill Walker and Malott on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Begich is down anywhere between 6 to 10 points right now. He's desperate. Bill Walker is trying to convince people that he's a conservative because he's going to need, all the libs will vote for him. All the union people will vote for him, but he needs a slice of those conservatives who don't really understand that he's, not a conservative. So when Begich starts putting up flyers saying this is my ticket, that's screwing Walker big time. But Begich needs to benefit from that.
Ride the coattails.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I can imagine Bill Walker's not real happy.
Yeah, I posted that link to the picture.
Oh, you saw it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had quite a few people say, "What? But Bill Walker's pro-life.
Yeah.
Like that means anything."
I know.
What does that even mean anymore?
I know. I do think Walker's going to win at this point.
Well, there's so many people being bamboozled over
Here's the thing. A lot of conservatives are being duped.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand he's going to go to war with the oil industry, that he's going to let the unions run the state, that our budgets will be exploding in growth because that's what the union wants, more state employees, more union dollars. So there's a chunk of conservatives who are playing the useful idiot role. And then, Bonnie, I'm telling you, this National Guard story is so huge, and the media is going to make it their priority. You're going to see more stories on this National Guard scandal from the Alaska Dispatch than any other topic. They're going to go after this. And they're going to always, and I know how it works with the media. And really, bias is often reflected in the media by the stories that are chosen to be covered. And it's going to be a daily thing. How can we advance the National Guard scandal? What's new in it today? Like just today, there was a story in the ADN about one of the guys who got a medal, and well, it turns out that he was cleared of one of the allegations, illegal bear hunt. But then it goes into all the other allegations. It goes ad nauseum, but the big scandal and the mess, and swirling around the Guard and its leadership. I mean, it's basically an excuse to stir it up again. So you're going to have like 4, 5, 6 days in a row where when you pick up the Alaska Dispatch News or go online, you're going to read something about this scandal.
And really, all you need is the headlines.
That's right.
That's all they need to use.
That's right. National Guard scandal. Right. And it's going to be there every day between now and the election day because the Dispatch News, they're gunning for Parnell. There's no doubt about that. So that's going to be difficult. Because
and you're not going to hear the other side like we did yesterday with the caller.
We had a gal call. Her husband's been in the Guard for 28 years. Her daughter's in the Guard. She was blown away that Governor Parnell has done so much to reform the Guard already, and he's going to continue. She called Parnell her hero.
Yes.
And so you'll never hear. She'll never appear in the Alaska Dispatch News.
No, and the fact that she said it's been going on it's not just been since 2010. It's been for years and years and years, and he's the first governor to address it.
Yes, that's right. And she even said we even had a female governor. She didn't touch it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's, and right now, according to Matt Larkin, who I trust emphatically, says that, Walker's up a little bit. I don't, and then you add on all that, Parnell just doesn't like to brag. He's not a braggadocious man. I admire that in him. I like it, the fact that he's not look who I am, look what I've done. But it doesn't bode well for somebody who needs to get reelected.
Yes, a true politician needs to step it up.
Yeah, so I'm not optimistic. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think it would be a horrific mistake to take Governor Parnell out of there right now with all that he's done with fixing Palin's mess and advancing the pipeline. We'll see. 7:14. Yes, advancing the pipeline. We'll see. 7:14.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. 569-1080 KOAN.
The highway, a strip of asphalt to carry you between points A and B. But in an all-new 2015 Mercedes-Benz GLA, there is no point B. Because when you're driving a GLA from Mercedes-Benz, you're not concerned with the destination, only the adventure. With off-road transmission mode and a sleek design, this SUV performs with confident style on any terrain. And no matter where your adventure takes you, the all-new GLA's sporty, expressive styling fits in, yet stands out, complementing the many sides of you. See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer today and see the world differently in a GLA 250 4MATIC, starting at $33,300.
MSRP for a 2015 GLA 250 4MATIC excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. For details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
Is your IT department burdened with first-line support calls about printer jams and broken printers? Are individual departments purchasing expensive printer cartridges that get buried in office supply budgets? Is your printer support strategy really a printer replacement plan? Let Alaska Enterprise Solutions show you how to reduce those high print costs. AES is a Xerox professional agency in Alaska with Xerox's worldwide support behind them. You can reach us at aesalaska.com or 561-5100.
Can a fuel make a straightaway take your breath away? Can it make a hill give you chills? Can it turn every acceleration into your exhilaration? It can if it's Shell V-Power Premium Gasoline. It removes an average of 60% of performance-robbing gunk on intake valves left by low-quality premium gasolines. And it starts with your very first tank. Choose Shell V-Power and let the excitement begin.
And learn how you can save big at the pump at fuelrewards.com.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
All right, welcome back. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, who's off today, Bonnie Cameron, 569-1080. We're going to do something unusual, Brian. Normally, Bonnie and Glen, too, before they speak, they like to write a bunch of notes to themselves. And then when they start talking, they refer to the notes. I don't understand that. I don't get that. And I think it is a deal where you've not tried to go for it. Don't try to, because, look, the only way you're going to be an effective broadcaster is if you are fearless. You cannot be afraid of how you sound. You cannot be afraid of what people might think about you. If you want to be compelling, if you want to be influential, you have to just speak from the heart, not from the head.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's scary. I told you when I first started doing my show on KFGD, for the first 3 months, there was never a minute in which I did not have a guest in the studio because I never thought for a second I could sit here and just talk. What am I going to say? Mm-hmm. And one day a guest didn't show, and I started talking, and what do you know? People started calling, and I'm off. I'm flying. My training wheels are off. And I haven't looked back since. And I'm telling you, you go for it. I think what I need to do, I need to just walk out of the room.
Oh, you better not. Don't you dare.
Well, it's like once you get that first rant under your belt, it's addictive, right?
Oh, I can rant.
But you got to do it from the heart, not the head.
That's probably true.
Or the notes.
All right,
apparently.
now you had some notes. I made you turn your notes over. What is it you wanted to talk about?
Well, you were talking about the doctor who was in here, and I really looked forward to whenever she would come on and talk about Obamacare. She knew a lot, and I guess she made the comment, which I have heard from other places too, not just her.
Yes.
Where she said that more people are uninsured now than they were before Obamacare.
Right.
So if that is not
I verified.
Since it is not true.
Yes.
And less people are uninsured or are insured.
No. More people are insured.
See, that's why I need to look at my notes.
That's all right. More people are insured now than under previous to Obamacare.
That is because we are a law-abiding people, and it's the law now that you have to be insured. That doesn't mean that there's more people who want to be insured.
Well,
and that's the difference.
That's part of it, but it's also that we're saying to you, if you can't afford to be insured, we will pay your way. We'll take somebody else's money. So basically what we're doing is we're giving out free insurance to people.
Yes.
And we're shocked that more people are insured. That's crazy.
And another thing was on another station that before it was, I don't know if it was before it was implemented, or I think it was the deadline. Like you had to have it by this date, or you had to have some kind of insurance by this date. They had a 30-minute show where the people would come on, and the people who were experts in the field from local experts would come on and have callers call in, and they would talk about the law, and callers would say, well, what about, my situation? What about this or that?
Right.
And they would talk and tell them their stories. I cannot tell you how many times they said, well, it sounds like you're qualified for denali kid care, for Medicaid.
Yeah.
Or it sounds like to me that you could get a subsidy for this amount or that amount.
Right.
Almost every single caller. Who is picking up that tab? It's not free money.
No, there's no free.
There is no free. Somebody's paying for it.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's just that kind of thing that maybe that's true. Maybe more people are insured now.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they were free to be uninsured.
Well, and I know my very good friend Amanda Coyne is a huge Obamacare fan.
Sure.
As you saw on her blog today, she kind of scolded Dan Sullivan for not knowing enough about the healthcare law. There are things you could say that are positive about Obamacare. More people insured, less people are, for some people there are winners.
Pre-existing conditions.
But that's what happens when the government takes over for the free market. There's always going to be winners, and there's always going to be losers. The problem is when the government takes over, the winners or losers are not chosen by the decisions they make. The government often, when it picks winners and losers, will reward bad behavior.
Yes.
And punish good behavior. But when the free market picks winners and losers, the good behavior is rewarded and the bad behavior is punished. And that's why, at its very core, leftism is flawed, because it picks winners and losers not based on the behavior. So you as an individual, your choices are inconsequential because the government will pick your outcomes for you.
Yep.
So you do not control your own destiny. You are not free to determine your outcome in life because the government picks winners and losers, not you. You should be able to determine your own future, not the government.
And the people who are not having to pay are usually the ones saying, it's not fair.
Yes.
That's not right.
Yes.
So, I mean, and I just heard it with the marriage, quote unquote equality argument too.
Love that.
Somebody said, oh, well, what is this about love? It doesn't, like Glenn was saying the other day. They were saying, what does marriage have to do with love? It's a contract, like we were talking about.
Right.
And somebody commented and they said, well, it's because the government gives benefits for people who are married, and that's not fair for people who want to get married and can't. And that is such a persuasive argument until you say, well, there's nothing else that's equal. It's not fair that some people are getting benefits that I don't get. Like Glenn talks about how he doesn't spend even $800 a month on groceries.
Well, he's very confusing on that. He does. He spends much more.
But if he was a 4-person family, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
but you
an
can't feed
average.
11 people for $800 a month.
No, but I understand
Yeah.
what he's saying. If he was a 4-person
Right.
family,
Right.
he would be doing it for a lot
But you have to add
less.
that qualifier.
Okay.
Well, like Amanda Coyne was giving Dan Sullivan a hard time for not knowing that health care is more expensive for women than men, as though that's a discriminatory thing, and that women, should be upset with Sullivan for not knowing that. Well, car insurance is much more expensive for men than women.
That is true.
So is that discrimination too?
No, of course not, because it's men.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, the other argument.
That's the worldview of a leftist.
Yes.
If a woman's discriminated against, it's discrimination. If a man's discriminated against, that's just math.
But we're all equal.
That's right. But it was somebody actually put on Amanda's blog, women cost more, they have babies. It's not discrimination, it's math.
Yes.
That's really all there is to it.
Right. It's just pure, it's just the reality. And the other argument I love is when they talk about how the insurance will pay for Viagra, but they won't pay for, birth control, as if that's the same thing. No, the equivalent to Viagra for a woman would be like some kind of hormone cream. It's not
tequila.
I'm not comfortable with this line of questioning.
No, I was just thinking about that today.
I don't really. First of all, I don't even know what Viagra is. I've never heard of it.
Oh, how about Cialis?
Never. No.
You're too young, Dan.
I'm way too young. I'm only 54. I wouldn't know about any of that stuff.
Well.
And that cream thing you're talking about, I honestly don't.
Okay, well, take my word for it.
Okay.
The equivalent to Viagra is not birth control for women.
So the weather's forecast for tomorrow. Sunny.
Hey, you told me to speak from my heart, and here I go.
Now, how did you like not having notes in front of you?
That was
Wasn't
okay.
she better, Brian?
Yeah, she did good.
We're going to ban notes in the studio. Glenn's going to kill me for it.
No, but I had other thoughts that I forgot.
What about mental notes?
They probably weren't that good then.
Only the good ones that reach
Mental
my mind.
Notes. You can make mental notes. You can write on your hand.
Right on the dry erase board in my head, huh?
You can write on your hand, but not your notepad.
Sarah Palin does it.
You can scribble into the table and it'll show
Let's
up.
see. What did you not talk about that you made notes?
Oh, I was going to talk about Sean Parnell.
Okay. What were we going to say about it?
Well, people talk about Bill Walker being a conservative.
Yes.
But we have a true conservative choice. It's not like a Dan Sullivan, Mark Begich difference. I can see it if Sean Parnell was a Mark Begich saying Bill Walker. But he's not. We have the true conservative choice, so conservatives should choose the true conservative choice.
Yeah. See, that wasn't that good a point.
Okay. Well, it was in my head.
And that's why. It was in your heart. It would have,
No, it was.
I'm just kidding. That was good. Now,
I know you see my point.
The pro-life thing is so big for Walker because you got people who are they hate the oil industry.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pro-life and they're conservative. You have union members, pro-life, conservative, except for when it comes to their paychecks.
Yes.
But they're conservative on national defense and they're conservative on, freedom and liberty. But they just think government employees should make 35% more in the private sector because they're government employees.
And get 8% raises every year.
Right, or a 70% raise since 2000. So, you got those folks who are going for Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot of those folks in the state.
And 100% retirement.
100% retirement.
We can go on.
So you can see Walker's appeal, and Walker plays to whatever crowd he's talking to.
Yes.
He's talking to the leftists. He's talking about unions and how wonderful they are.
But he doesn't really have a plan. I told people, there was a couple of people who commented, and they said, oh, I'm going to be going to one of his functions, and I'll be sure and ask him questions. Well, that doesn't really mean anything if he can give you a great talking point, but nothing to back it up.
When you're talking about what is a conservative, to me it starts with life.
Yes.
So I got to give Walker points for that. But the second main issue, what is the role of government? And really, if you don't understand that the public employee labor unions are driving government growth at unprecedented rates, then you're really not even close to being a conservative. That's really the number one issue outside of protecting the innocent life in this country. We've got the FDR even thought public employee unions would be a disaster, and they have been a disaster, and they are a disaster, and they're the reason that your child body, when he or she enters the workforce, is going to face what will probably be a $25-30 trillion deficit that they're going to have to pay back. You're going to be out of the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to have to pay that back, which means their tax rate's going to be about 75, 80%, which means they're not going to be able to create wealth for their family like you and your husband were able to.
But nobody cares until it personally affects their life.
But the labor unions are driving that betrayal of the next generation. And for someone to say, I'm a conservative, but I want the public employee unions on both sides of the negotiating table, you are not a conservative. You are aiding and abetting. You're an accomplice to those who are betraying and leveraging and mortgaging our next generation's future. You're the culprit. And I can't accept somebody saying, yeah, let's let Vince Beltrami run the state, and I'm a conservative. I just can't buy it. 729, Fagan Biegel Bonnie. Yeah, I just can't buy it. 729.
And now, the Fox News Business Report, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage.
Investors appear to be disappointed by the company's announcement of a new all-wheel drive car late yesterday. Apparently, some of them wanted to see a new model. But Dave & Buster's Entertainment, that's a winner today on the NASDAQ. The arcade and restaurant chain's IPO opened at $17 a share after pricing nearly 6 million shares at $16 each. That came in at the low end of the expected price range. The IPO raised about $94 million. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lauren Simonetti.
You will not have enough money to retire. It's true. If you're like most Americans, you'll have to work in your 80s to live comfortably. I'm Jesse with Future Advisor. Our chartered financial analysts and math PhDs created software that will look at your portfolio, tell you what the future holds, and show you how to fix it for free. If we can't shave a year off your retirement, we'll send you $100. Take charge of your future. Free in just 2 minutes. Call now. 1-800-618-4000. That's 1-800-618-4000.
With KOAN News, I'm Ann Kenda. No charges will be filed in connection with a fight that broke out last month at a party attended by some members of former Governor Sarah Palin's family. Her oldest daughter, Bristol, was interviewed by police after the incident. The investigation is concluded with no charges to be filed. Supporters are calling for a review of the case against the so-called Fairbanks Four, in prison since 1997 for the beating death of 15-year-old John Hartman. Many Alaska natives say the men were wrongly accused due to racial prejudice. Bail has been set at $500,000 for the teenager accused of killing his foster father after he was grounded for using the synthetic drug Spice. Peter John Henry is accused in the death of public radio music host Marvell Johnson, who had served as a foster parent to more than 100 kids, and was described as having a heart for the teenage boys that no one else would take. That's your Hot Talk News Update.
Rain for today, high 43. Tonight, cloudy skies with a bit of rain, low 35. Tomorrow, cloudy with occasional rain, high 46. Tomorrow night, low 35. Mostly cloudy with some rain on Sunday, high 44. Monday, mostly cloudy, high 44. Tuesday, high 40. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Oh, it's a big weekend at Noosagayan City Market when the boatload of live Dungeness crab comes in from southeast Alaska. And Noosagayan City Market have just received one this week, a full boatload. So this weekend, the special is big and sweet and juicy Dungeness crab, flicking and a-clacking as they walk around sideways, of course, in the big crab tanks at Noosagayan City Market. Pick the one you want, and our loincloth-clad crab divers will rustle them out of the tank for you. The crab are only $9.99 a pound this weekend only, and both stores will cook them for you in their big crab cookers if you wish. In the butcher shops at Noosa Guy and City Market, the barbecue season isn't over yet, and they have great free-range chickens on special, just $2.09 a pound, a delicious and economical meal that everybody loves. $2.09 a pound at Noosa Guy and City Market. Have you had a chance to try Noosa Guy's jumbo avocados? They are terrific. Great price, too, for these big boys. Jumbo avocados, 2 for just $5. Noosa Guy in Midtown, City Market, 13th and I.
Alaska's Energy, America's Values, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
Mark Begich is unbelievable.
Washington thinks it knows what's best for Alaska, and that's what I'm fighting against every day.
Fighting? Begich voted for all Obama's appointments, like Sally Jewell as Secretary of the Interior. Jewell immediately said no to exploration in ANWR and no to a King Cove road. Begich didn't fight Washington. He rolled over, like he rolled over for Obamacare. Now Begich is trying to duck and hide on Obamacare, on oil taxes, on cap and trade, on the IRS scandal, even on ANWR. How can you deliver ANWR, Mark, when Harry Reid says a Democrat-controlled Senate will never allow an ANWR vote? Alaskans can't trust a thing Begich says. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan.
Glen Biegel, you have beautiful teeth.
Why, thank you, Dan Fagan. That's because my family and I have gone to Dr. Dan Kiley for years.
I get scared at the dentist.
Dr. Kiley knows people like you are afraid, so he creates a relaxed atmosphere at his office. People actually like going to the dentist for Dr. Kiley.
I know it's important to have good dental health.
And you look better with good teeth. And Dr. Kiley offers cosmetic dentistry along with general care.
Visit Dr. Dan Kiley at lakeotisdental.com. Call him at 562-9209.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call.
$7:35 in the morning. Welcome to the Dan Fagan and the Note-Free Bonnie Cameron Show. Glen Biegel will be back Monday. Bonnie has decided to go with her heart today, not her notes, and she's doing quite well at it. 569-1080 is the number. We'd love to hear from you. 569-1080. Of course, the big story, I don't know, the Palin thing. You know, we're fascinated with these people. They're larger than life. You know, well, I think we should be speaking about more important issues. You know, it's okay. The British have their royalty. We got the Palins. You know, it's okay to be fascinated with these people. They're fascinating people.
Well, we have a population in Anchorage of 300,000.
360. No, it's actually 260. But when you go
incorporate the valley, or
the valley and
okay,
Kenai,
the whole state of Alaska has less than 1 million people.
Yes,
we have someone who is nationally known,
internationally known.
Yes, absolutely.
Probably the top most. I would say, at least at one point, she was probably the top 3 as far as most talked about.
See,
now it's probably down to about 15 or 18, but. Yeah, I mean, it's huge.
I mean, it's people expect us to talk about it.
Well, anybody from Alaska who's ever gone anywhere outside of Alaska, what's the same question we all get?
Do you know Sarah Palin?
I got upgraded to first class once. I did. I was in Las Vegas, and I was getting on the plane, or checking in, and the woman said, you're from Alaska? I said, yes. You know Sarah Palin? I love her. I just love Sarah Palin. Of course, I'm her harshest critic, and I said, yeah, I love her too. And she said, you know what? I'm going to put you in first class.
She would have put you back by the bathrooms if you told her how much you
actually, I don't care for her. She ruined the state. She said, I'm putting you on the no-fly list.
Yeah, they're going to kick you off the plane.
That's right. But I totally was disingenuous. Well, frankly, it was a lie.
Yes.
So now you know I'm not perfect. Now you know I'm not perfect.
That's 2 confessions today.
But thank you. But she just keeps going on and on about it. Oh, she's so wonderful. I just love her. Oh, yeah, she's really swell.
Yeah.
You know, the guy says, you know what?
Gosh
darn
it.
I think I was like flying to Seattle, because wasn't a plane that you'd think go to Alaska. And she said, I'm going to put you in first class all the way through. And I told her I know her. I've been to her house. I said, you've been to her house? Oh my goodness.
I know. My husband delivered there.
Delivered
to their house when he worked for the post office.
Oh, really?
He delivered to their house, and people just, you do? What are they like? Like, he knows her personally because he delivered a package into her hands.
Who do you work for? Like Fed? Oh,
no, for the post office.
So did they get anything that would be incriminating?
Ooh, I don't know.
Playboy magazine.
He hasn't told me that.
Oh.
Although during the election, he worked out in the Valley in the Wasilla office.
At the post office.
Yes, and during the presidential election,
yes,
they had to have all her mail scanned.
Oh, I'm sure.
And looked at very carefully, and there were Secret Service people there.
Oh, he was still at the post office?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And after all, and it was really kind of a big deal there in the post office, and they had to go around them, and it was not an easy thing.
Right.
So after the election, this is something nice. Hold on to your hat. She came over and delivered personally thank you letters to the post office people.
See, that's Sarah Palin in a nutshell. Yeah. That's the Sarah Palin I knew. Let me tell you about Sarah Palin the first time I met her. I was reporting with Channel 2. And when you go out in the field as a reporter, especially talking to politicians, she was mayor of Wasilla at the time, the politician will almost always act as though the photographer is invisible. Mm-hmm. It just kind of natural, because I'm the guy who's going to be on TV. I'm the guy who's going to write the story about them. I'm the one who's going to pick the soundbite about them. So they're focused on me as the reporter. And I would always because I always looked at my photographer as the real key to the story being done well. You take a really good photographer in a story and a mediocre one, it's going to be night and day how the story is going to look.
Right.
And Channel 2 had some of the best photographers in the country. Literally, one of the photographers, Scott Jensen, who's now in Seattle, he was voted the best photographer in the entire nation.
Wow.
And I used to work with him all the time. He was great. And so we walk in, and what I would normally do, I would always introduce my photographer. I'd say, here's Scott Jensen, blah, blah, blah. So we walk in, I introduce Scott, and she had never met me. I had never met her.
Wow.
She starts focusing on the photographer. Oh, so do you like being a news photographer? Really? And what's she's totally talking to the photographer.
Very personable.
Very personable. And I'd never seen that from a politician ever.
Right.
In all my many, many, many years.
Was Scott really surprised too? Just as much?
He noticed it. I mentioned it to him afterwards, and he said, yeah, she was. But that's Sarah Palin in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. She's so personable. She's so good. My mother, when she met my mother, she was like, my mom was just, oh, this woman's amazing. Why has my son been criticizing her?
You became the bad guy.
Right. So that's a gift she has. Mm-hmm. That's who she is.
Yeah, because she didn't have to write notes to them. I mean, that was not her. It's not her fault.
No, she's very, I think she's got a great heart. Now,
but, bless her heart.
Bless her heart. I don't know what to make of what's happened. I don't know, Bonnie. I don't know what I see now is anger and pettiness and getting caught up in every little, if you, like the worst thing in Frank Bailey's book, which was verified by many people, was this poor guy in Juneau who objected to all the tour buses going by the governor's mansion because he lived right on the route and it changed his neighborhood. So he wrote a little letter to the editor of the Juneau paper. Well, according to Bailey, Palin decided to go after this guy with everything she could. He became her obsession. At one point, Sharon Lehow even said to the governor, I'm not going to do that. She wanted to write some note about this guy and accusing him of harassing his daughter or something. And Sharon Lehow said, I'm not going to do that. But she gets so obsessed. It's like Trooper Wooten. That was her life, man. I'm telling you, I still have emails from her when I was her friend about, 5-6 pages about Wooten. She gets obsessed over these critics. And it's like, it's all she can think about. There's no outside peripheral issues to her. It's, you go after her, she's going to come after you with everything she has.
Is it because she feels like she can get away with it, get something? Because I know that I have critics, and I tend to obsess at times.
Do you?
Yes, but okay. I know I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I let it go.
Well, Bonnie has that fighting spirit where she'll argue back and forth just to keep the conversation with someone, if she believes in something.
Right.
And that's admirable, though, in Sarah Palin as well.
No. Sarah Palin and Bonnie are very much alike in that, Brian. That's a great observation. Palin will not back down.
And I can't blame somebody for fighting for themselves.
No, I agree with you, Brian. That's a great observation. And
that's funny because I think I'm easily persuaded.
Well, yeah, but Sarah's not.
Well,
there's the difference.
I think you've shown the capacity to say, you know what, I'm wrong about that.
Sure.
And I've never heard Sarah Palin say that about anything.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Is it because she thinks she can control them in a way? Because I know I can't control people who disagree with me.
I don't know.
I can try to convince them, but that's about it.
I think at this point she's wary of anybody that they're trying to get her.
Very distrustful.
True, Brian.
That'd be a terrible way to live.
It is a terrible way to live, but you can see why she'd be that way, because so many people have come after her.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be at the top of the list.
I'd love to ask her now what she would do different that night. That would be my question.
You mean the brawl?
The night of the bar. Yeah, if she has any regrets. You know, because that would really speak well of her if she was to say, yeah, I shouldn't have taken my son out.
And I do believe this was the final nail in the coffin. Mm-hmm. This brawl. I do. It's just too hard to overcome. 569-1080, 744. This brawl. I do. It's just too hard to overcome. 569-1080, 744.
So this weekend, the special is big and sweet and juicy Dungeness crab, clicking and a-clacking as they walk around sideways, of course, in the big crab tanks at New Sagaya and City Market. Pick the one you want, and our loincloth-clad crab divers will rustle them out of the tank for you. The crab are only $9.99 a pound this weekend only, and both stores will cook them for you in their big crab cookers if you wish. In the butcher shops at New Sagaya and City Market, the barbecue season isn't over yet, and they have great free-range chickens on special, just $2.09 a pound, a delicious and economical meal that everybody loves. $2.09 a pound at New Sagaya and City Market. Have you had a chance to try New Sagaya's jumbo avocados? They are terrific. Great price, too, for these big boys. Jumbo avocados, 2 for just $5. New Sagaya Midtown, City Market, 13th and I.
Hi, I'm Senator Anna Fairclough. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing good people attacked, and that's why I'm speaking to you about my friend Kathy Giesel. Senator Giesel deeply cares about her neighbors and what matters to them. She takes the time to listen to their issues and bring those concerns to Juneau. I'm disappointed that her opponent is willing to attack her and not stand on his own record. Kathy Giesel is someone I'm proud to work with, and with your support, she'll continue to fight for you.
Thanks, Anna. I'm Senator Kathy Giesel. I'm proud to serve with great Alaskans like Anna Fairclough, and I'm proud to be your voice in Juneau. I'll stand on my record and the work I've done in Juneau. From issues like healthcare, jobs, education, and a long-term fiscal plan to keep Alaska on the right track, I'm there for you. Paid for by re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel for State Senate, 12701 Ridgewood Road, Anchorage, Alaska, 99516.
Hot Talk KOAN, man. You're on with Fagan and Biegel. 1080KOAN.com.
I didn't hear what you just said.
You're usually you just said you're negative.
I'm not negative.
You can be. Sometimes, yeah.
You think I'm negative?
Yeah, and it makes me really like, oh no, what's going on?
No, wait a minute. You talk about negative about what?
Well,
the show?
Yeah, sometimes. You'll say things. I never know when to take you seriously.
Oh, yeah, no, I fight that. I do. I don't think I'm a negative person in general.
No, but you're sarcastic. You can be a little sarcastic.
Well, no, I'm actually mean that.
Okay.
When I'm sarcastic.
See?
Yeah. If you think I'm sarcastic, I'm not.
It's funny how I thought I knew you just because I listened to you.
Yeah.
And
so are you saying I'm much different than my persona?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
How so?
You have a good heart. You do.
So you thought I was some dark-hearted evil guy? Well, that Dan Fagan is.
I just didn't know you.
You know, that's funny because there's a gal who I used to watch on TV who was the anchor, Deborah Stewart, and I used to think she was the coldest, meanest person ever. And then I got a job at the TV station as a reporter and became friends with her. She was the kindest, warmest. Just her on-air persona was so cold.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you don't. But I think I am myself on the air. So why do you think I have a good heart now, but I didn't have a good heart before?
I don't know. Maybe it's because you've changed.
I have changed.
So maybe that's what it is.
No, I am a very.
I did move out for 18 months. And
I was a dark-hearted person.
You have a softer side now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose, but
more vulnerable.
I suppose.
But it's just funny to me how you listen to people. If I listen to Sean Hannity or anything, I think I know him because I hear him for so many hours a day or whatever.
Yeah. And you talk to him.
And then like that lady called the other day and she was like, Bonnie, I just want to talk to you. I have to call you out on this. And I'm like, who are you again? You know, so it's kind of fun.
Well,
I love
the funny thing is,
I love meeting new people, so it's great.
But what you'll find, I'm assuming you'll find this, is that people will just come up to you and they'll start talking to you, but they don't even tell you their name.
Yes, because they know who you are.
Right. And I say, what's your name? And I didn't tell you my name.
That won't happen.
That hasn't happened?
No.
Okay. No, that happens to me every day.
Well, yeah, you're somebody. I'm nobody.
We're all somebody. Everybody's somebody.
I saw somebody said I was adorable the other day, though.
Yeah.
People are walking up asking Bonnie, hey, you want to do this? You want to do that?
Yeah.
Are you getting a lot of reaction?
I saw a comment that said I was adorable. It totally made my week.
Now, people don't know what you look like yet because... And
that's
really,
okay with me.
like even with like Rick Rydell and Glenn and other talk show hosts, I was on TV for so many years.
Yes.
I have the added advantage of, and like Bob Lester, he's on commercials all the time, so they know who he is.
Yeah.
So I would imagine most talk show hosts don't get the reaction. One thing I know, when my family was up here about 3 or 4 years ago, I would have no way of knowing this. But like anytime we go out to eat, they would say, everybody's staring at you. Why is everybody staring at you? But I don't notice that because I'm not looking at everybody. And
yeah,
I do get that a lot where that people will see me in the grocery store and they'll immediately get this big smile on their face.
Or not a smile.
It's funny. I'll tell you 2 quick stories on that. One, I was speaking at I think it was Ethan Berkowitz's wife's class at UAA. She's a professor out there. I don't know. Actually, I don't think it was her. It was another, Roseanne Pagano. I was speaking to her class. And Roseanne had asked her students to go out, this is a journalism class, and go out and do a report and gather a report on Dan Fagan, because I was going to speak. So they went and they interviewed the rest of the campus on, do you know who Dan Fagan is? What do you think of Dan Fagan? Blah, blah, blah. It was pretty bad. There was some pretty negative.
You have to consider where they were.
Well, no, I understand that. But there were some people who are just, I can't stand him. He's a bigot. He's a racist.
But they've never listened to the show.
Well,
any show.
Maybe not. Maybe they just heard of me, or maybe they had and they didn't like it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that moment was a real eye-opening experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because up to that point, I had never had anyone ever once come up to me and say anything negative about me to my face. But I realized that, okay, there are a lot of people in this town who just absolutely cannot stand me.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that because when you take controversial positions, that's just going to come with the territory.
Yes. So
that was a real eye-opening experience. So one time I had a negative experience. I'm getting on the elevator. I think I've told you guys this story. Kind of corner of Sullivan's, going up a glass elevator. Woman gets on. Said, how you doing? She goes, We go up 3 floors. We get out of the elevator. We're on the same floor. She walks. Her car's before mine. Save the whales. George Bush is a war criminal. Peace, not war.
Yes.
So she knew who I was, and literally she grunted at me. Just because of who
You're lucky it was just a grunt.
No, that's true.
I'm just curious. Was it a Subaru?
It was a Subaru.
Yes.
Of course it was a Subaru.
I knew it.
It's illegal for leftists to not drive Subarus.
Yeah. Without a coexist sticker.
Right. Now, of course, you go to ADN.com and the blogs and the Facebook. I mean, I get killed on all that stuff. But that's the only time in all of my years in Alaska I've ever been treated poorly in person as a result of, and I know there are a lot of people who don't like me, so.
You're intimidating.
I'm not intimidating.
A little bit.
Get out of here.
Mentally intimidating.
Mentally
you might give him a tongue thrashing.
Yeah, I actually did think about that when we all went to lunch the other day.
Think about what?
I was sitting there and I was like, just, going along having lunch, and then I thought, I wonder if anybody's like looking, and I kind of looked around.
This is going to be in the ear on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sheila Toomey. Well, she was That column was so popular when she did it.
It's like page 9 or whatever of the Times.
Yeah.
What, page 6? I don't know.
But she had so many contacts, and I've been to lunch with Sheila Toomey on a personal level maybe a dozen times. I consider her a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I hear she's mad at me because I haven't called her since I've been back in the state, but
she quit her article.
Well, she's old. She's in her 70s now. I shouldn't say that. She's at a point in her life when she's retiring.
Golden girl.
Say she's old.
Golden girl. There
can't
you
believe
go.
I just called a woman old.
You call me old all the time.
Sometimes that's because you aren't old. You don't call old people old.
Oh, okay.
You only call young people old. You don't call fat people fat.
Because I've really been thinking about it lately.
Oh my God.
Feeling my wrinkles.
How old are you?
36.
That's a baby.
We got her on HD too.
Oh gosh.
36.
Those wrinkles get deeper on HD.
I can't. 36. I think I was still in the 4th grade then. I don't even remember. It's a long time ago.
I miss 33. That was my best year. And statistically, that is the best year. They've determined, the experts have determined that 33 is the best year of anybody's life.
Bad news. It's all downhill from there.
Yeah, no kidding.
See, I like being 50. I like being in my 50s.
Yeah.
I do. I don't care as much what people think of me, which is a huge burden.
Yes.
Off. I mean, when you go around life worrying about whether people like you or not, man, that's a burden that is you just can't carry that. It just zaps the life out of you.
Yeah, the older you get, that does fade.
Oh,
I
awesome.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'd never go back to being 20 in my 20s. That's for sure. I like 30s.
Yeah, I think life gets sweeter with age. Now, I look at my mom, she's 80 years old. She gets up and she works out every day. She's always doing something, going with her girlfriends to the symphony or whatever they go do, and, always hanging out with my sisters, and they're, they always go to eat, the family, she lives a much more active life than I do. And she's as sharp as a tack. She will not come on the show, but if she were to come on, if she would call the show right now and start talking to us, you would think we're talking to a 25-year-old.
Wow.
Her voice sounds like she's a young woman.
That's neat.
Yeah, people, when they meet her, after they've talked to her, they're like, wow, I thought you were, a very young woman. And she does. She's got her face. She doesn't have any wrinkles. I'm telling you, this woman's a miracle. Miracle of science. I don't know. But the
What's
thing,
her secret?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I don't know a single person who has laughed more than my mom. And my dad was very funny, so he kept her laughing.
That's the key.
Yeah, and she just laughed. She's an easy laugh. I used to think I was funny, but then I realized it was just an easy laugh. But
she was laughing at you.
She was. But, just that attitude, I never hear her complain. I never hear her say anything negative.
Like, I'm sick of this, or I'm tired of that.
Yeah, and I don't hear, she doesn't talk bad about people either.
Right.
She's just got a good heart.
That's good.
And I think that
comes out.
I think that absolutely extends your life.
Mm-hmm.
And she, eats grass for lunch. All she eats is salmon and vegetables.
Wow.
She never has red meat. She never eats cake and pie and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I really do believe you can extend your life considerably. I obviously am doing the complete opposite with my decisions, which I'm not happy about, and I'm going to change. I have to. I'm going to.
I tell you, before I started working as a funeral director, I would watch the salt, drink Diet Coke, and
yes.
And then after about a year, just seeing who comes through there.
Really?
Doesn't matter how many hills you've climbed and hiked, or how many sodas and couches you've sat on.
Yeah.
You have an equal chance of showing up on that table every day.
So give me an example. Like, who would show up that you wouldn't expect to show up?
Well, I saw a doctor who looked very healthy.
Yes.
He had been a doctor. He was in his 50s.
Wow.
He was obviously in good shape. I did a video for him, so I got to see all the things that he did. He climbed and hiked and did everything.
Wow.
And it was very tragic.
What, did he have a heart attack or?
Yeah, if you don't get your help right away,
wow,
it turns terminal. If you can get help fast enough, it can save you.
Yes. Well, I look at my dad, who died when he was 78. And he had cancer when he was 56, I think. And if I'd have lost him at 56, what a tragedy that would have been. He was such a big part of my life from 56 to 78. He was a huge. I can't imagine. So, yeah, take care of yourself, especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
Especially if you have kids. 569-1080. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. Biegel's off today. We'll be right back.
Fire, which lies dormant in the broad daylight of prosperity, but which kindles up and beams and blazes in the dark hour of adversity. The 2014 Alaska Women's Summit. The University of Alaska, Anchorage College of Health, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski, and State Senator Liesl McGuire are calling on Alaska's brightest women to come together to work on finding answers to the toughest questions facing Alaskan women and families. Join us for 2 days, October 16th and 17th, focusing on building communities of change, self-advocacy, and removing the glass ceiling. Learn how empowerment and mentorship are vital tools in fostering successful young women. Presented by GCI. Also sponsored by Saltsha, ConocoPhillips, and BP. Register online today, AlaskaWomenSummit.com. The 2014 Alaska Women's Summit. Come and spark your fire.
You're listening to Hot Talk, KOAN, Anchorage, AM 1080, and retranslated on 95.1 FM on K236CG, Anchorage.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. A massacre, the UN warning, that's what's likely to happen if a Syria border town falls to ISIS. Fox News Radio's Emily Wither is live in our Mideast Bureau.
With the help of the UAE and Saudi Arabia, the US-led coalition has conducted 9 airstrikes in Syria today. In 2 of the air attacks to the south of Kobani, they destroyed 2 ISIS training facilities. The new UN envoy to Syria is warning that if this Syrian Kurdish town falls, the 500 or so civilians still trapped there will likely be massacred.
We know, we have seen it, what ISIL is capable of doing when they take over a city.
He's calling on the world to prevent the situation from turning into a catastrophe. Lisa?
Emily, thanks. She was in her high school chemistry class in Britain when a teacher told Malala Yousafzai she'd won the Nobel Peace Prize.
And I was totally surprised when she told me that congratulations, you have won the Nobel Peace Prize, and you are sharing it with a great person who is also working for children's rights.
The Pakistani education activist who survived an attempted Taliban assassination becomes the youngest ever Nobel winner at 17. She calls the honor precious, saying it makes her more courageous. Her co-winner is longtime Indian child advocate Kailash Satyarthi. Gay marriage arrives in Kansas, one of several states where licenses are being issued for the first time this week. Fox Radio's Jared Halpern live in Washington.
Kansas is the latest state where a same-sex marriage ban is in doubt after the U.S. Supreme Court declined to take up appeals from 5 other states where bans were struck down. A federal judge directed county clerks in Kansas to start accepting marriage license applications from same-sex couples. Johnson County did that earlier this week. A 3-day wait period is over, and what's believed to be the first marriage license for a same-sex couple has been issued. A second Kansas county has also said it's accepting license applications from same-sex couples. Lisa.
Jared, thanks. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Paid for by Stansbury & Associates Investment Research. Pentagon insider and New York Times best-selling author James Rickards just published a tell-all book called The Death of Money. You may know Rickards from his role helping the CIA investigate al-Qaeda's manipulation of the stock market before 9/11. In his book, The Death of Money, he explains how a major currency crisis could soon wipe out the savings and retirement plans of millions of Americans. He also believes seniors in particular could be hit the hardest. While supplies last, you can receive a copy of The Death of Money for free. All we ask is that you pay $5 shipping and handling. Just go to www.deathofmoney12.com to get your copy today. Plus, act now, and you'll get Rickard's Missing Chapter, available only through this special offer. In this Missing Chapter, you'll learn the 7 essential ways to protect your savings from this imminent crisis. Again, to get your free copy and the exclusive Missing Chapter, just go to deathofmoney12.com. That's deathofmoney12.com.
Well, howdy, I'm Nick Worthington, Ford Giant Worthington Ford. And folks, we're having a huge sale.
Right now, you can get friends and neighbors pricing automatically on these beautiful new 2014s. That's the official pricing set by Ford.
And you can use your PFD today. Take a look.
Here's a Kia Sportage for just $69.50 and a Dodge Ram 1500 for only $10,900.
Here's a Ford Expedition, just $10,900. And here's a Hummer H2, just $14,900.
And if you're looking for a new Ford, friends and neighbors pricing could save you a lot.
This is your chance to automatically qualify for Ford's Friends and Neighbors pricing, so don't miss it.
Plus, if you've got a trade-in, we need it, and we'll give you top dollar.
Everyone qualifies for this special offer, so hurry on in to Giant Worthington Ford on Gamble.
Stock numbers 07 Ram 1473068, 05 Expedition Q1771, 03H2 Q18958, 06 Sportage Q1457D. Friends and neighbors pricing excludes Raptor, MKC, and Fleet deals. On approved credit, subject to prior sale. See dealer for details. Ends 10/16/2014.
Do you remember that Beatles song? If the rain comes, they'll run and hide their heads. You know which one I'm talking about. Well, if that's you and you're inside your home or office, it's time to call Earhart Roofing. Call Earhart Roofing for all your roofing needs. Flat or pitched, large or small, Earhart Roofing will do the job quickly, and they'll do it right. Earhart Roofing, big enough to serve you and still small enough to care. Call 345-5555. That's 345-5555.
When Malarkey Mark Begich ran for U.S. Senator, he made a lot of claims about his record as Anchorage mayor. Begich knew the truth wouldn't come to light before the election. But now, history is caught up with Malarkey Mark. Under Begich, Anchorage taxes went up 27%. Under Begich, the city budget ballooned, a $142 million increase in spending. Under Begich, the city was saddled with unprecedented 5-year union contracts. Under Begich, a deficit of over $20 million was left for the next mayor to deal with. Begich left Anchorage in serious trouble. Alaska's Energy, America's Values paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
Here's my good friend, Keith Monternock.
Automotive repairs can be frustrating. Let me help. Call 349-1637. I have been in business for nearly 20 years at the same location. Specialty Truck and Auto is in South Anchorage behind the Long Branch Saloon where Diamond becomes Abbott. I have 6 ASE certified technicians working from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. I have a voucher for any of the 6 Alaska Laser Wash locations for each customer. If you schedule ahead and need a ride when you drop your vehicle off, I may be able to help. Call Specialty Truck and Auto, 349-1637.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080.
Six minutes past 8 in the morning here at the Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie show. Biegel out today. He's going to be back on Monday. Country Financial, Mike Daniels. You hear me talk about him a lot. I know Mike. I have a lot of respect for Mike. I have a lot of respect for what he does in Alaska with his country representatives. Country Financial is a company that will help you with your financial planning. They'll make sure that you have adequate insurance. You know, you spend your whole life building, creating wealth, and hopefully when you get to the retirement age, you'll have enough from your working days to live a very successful, happy retirement. And then when you do pass on, hopefully you'll be able to leave money to your children. And that's kind of the way life works. Well, the folks at Country Financial, this is what they do. They help you live that dream. And there are so many things that they know that you haven't probably considered that can help you get to a successful, happy retirement. Go see the folks at Country Representative Mike Daniels and his team. They've got 13 locations in Alaska. 5 of them in the Valley, 5 of them in Anchorage. Here's the number, 866-COUNTRY. 866-COUNTRY. Country, by the way, is spelled
COUNTRY.
569-1080 is the number here. Brian, we were talking during the break about you working at a funeral home. You know, I had a job once, by the way, in the death care industry. I cut grass at a cemetery.
You could ride the mower.
Yeah, it was. Yes, we did not. I was like 19 or 18 or 17. I don't remember. It was a kid, but it was so hot. It was in New Orleans in the middle of summer. Whoo!
And you had to go around all the boxes and stuff because they don't bury them. Right? They don't.
Oh yeah, no, they're all above ground.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That would be,
I just. See, this is why.
That's unheard of.
This is why Bonnie's on the show. A lot of times, Glenn and I, we know so much stuff because we've been studying all this stuff.
See, I don't like it when you say that.
Why?
You started it out with, Glenn and I know so much stuff.
Well, no, but we've been studying this stuff forever.
Okay, you need to preface that
and
tell people.
Bonnie found an encyclopedia.
But my point is that a lot of times what Glenn and I will do, we will say things as though people already know them, and they don't. And that's a perfect example. I start picturing my job at cutting grass in a cemetery, and people don't realize there's these big, gigantic, what are they even called?
I don't know. Are they not coffins?
No.
Mausoleums.
Mausoleums. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
And the coffin, because you can't dig 2 feet in the ground in New Orleans. There are no basements in New Orleans because it's water.
Mm-hmm.
Water.
New Orleans is a city that is a bowl. It is to the north of New Orleans is Lake Pontchartrain, which is a gigantic lake, and then you got the Mississippi River runs right through it, and then to the south of it, to the southwest of it is marsh, and then to the southeast of it is the Gulf of Mexico.
Who would have thought of putting a city there?
I know. Well, it's been there forever.
One of my favorite shows is about Louisiana, the Swamp People.
Oh, is that? I've never seen that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
They're probably not real smart, are they?
Aw.
Yeah, they know how to catch some gators.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, they know how to get them snakes,
Moving
crocodiles. But anyway, so that was a perfect example. So anyway, the death care industry.
Yeah.
You worked at a funeral home.
Yeah.
And you ran into a lot of people who had come to the funeral home who were homeless, who had died.
Yeah, especially the first year I was there, we had a lot of deaths in Anchorage from homeless people.
Was it in a particularly cold winter?
I think that winter it was, or it was particularly snowy. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was just strange because it had never really happened like that, but then all of a sudden in a row. But what happens is if they don't have any family, you have to do something called a stranger burial, which is the funeral director actually has to go through the court to get permission to bury someone. And it takes 30 to 60 days, depending on the court. It's pretty frustrating.
So what do you do with the body?
They stay in cold storage.
Wow. And how does the funeral home make money burying a homeless person?
We got a lot of checks from the state. You basically apply.
So the state covers the burial for the homeless person.
Yeah, they do have assistance not only for homeless but just for low income. There's burial assistance programs that help a lot of the Alaskan natives, especially out in the villages. It's hard because you have to fly someone into Anchorage, fly them back.
That is not cheap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very expensive to die.
It is.
What's the average cost?
Especially under this administration.
If you live in town and have it prearranged, you can get a cremation for under $1,500 if that's what you want to do. Burial is going to be at least twice that much, and you're talking minimum burial. So if you want something normal, between $5,000 to $15,000.
I don't want to be crude here or disgusting as people are eating their runny eggs this morning, but why can't a family let's say if a family member dies at home of natural causes, why can't they just bury them outside in the backyard?
In some instances you can. Like we have people that lived in Homer, Ninilchik, and they have their family property, and you can actually bury someone there. Now here in Anchorage you can't.
It's against the law.
Yeah, and down there you could.
And why is it against the law? What's the thought? Because they won't bury it deep enough? It could cause diseases? Or
yeah, I'd say it's a health thing here in the city. There's probably just something against it. I've never really looked into that.
Back in the old days, that's what you do with family members. You just go out in the back of the house and you'd bury them.
In a box, usually.
And like even the cremation part, I guess you couldn't do that. You'd have the proper equipment and infrastructure.
Well, they used to put people like in a raft and set the raft on fire and send it down the river.
Is that right?
There was the Native Americans did cremations where they'd build like a tower.
Oh, okay.
So it's
now in Alaska you can't bury anyone during the winter, correct?
You can. They usually will pre-dig some holes.
Oh,
especially for the military. The military ones are actually cement on all sides, so they just lift the covers off of them. But they're prepared.
I had no idea that because I thought that they didn't bury anybody until the spring.
Well, you don't get much choice because it's only in certain areas. If you had a certain area where you wanted to be, then you would have to wait.
Yeah, what do you? So you just keep the body in cold storage?
Yeah, the Angelus, the one out on Clatt, the funeral home out there, and Memorial Park, they have a large storage area where everyone pretty
Brian,
much
back
goes.
to the homeless thing. So what do you think we should do with the homeless?
I don't think giving them houses and letting them continue to drink
it just accelerates their demise.
Well, and on somebody else's dollar.
Yeah,
don't worry about that.
No. I'm serious. The church I go to, they take turns with other churches housing people when it gets below 40. And they'll just I think it's Tuesday nights or something like that. They'll shuttle them there and give them a place to stay. There's showers. They bring food. The people do it. The people of the church volunteer. And and that's what I meant by that.
And when a person ends up homeless out there, a lot of times it's not because they lost their job and they're just having a bad day. They have a lot of mental problems. I mean, you can tell by the way they dress and what they're doing.
I've covered the homeless my whole career as a journalist, and what I typically find is yes, there's mental problems or addiction.
Yeah,
those are the two causes. You mentally unstable, or you're just so addicted to alcohol. It's your life and all that matters. You cannot function at a job. You can't go to work because you're drunk all the time. So you end up losing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just about, and there's always the debate about what do you do when a guy's on the street corner? Do you give him $5 so he can go buy some more booze, or do you, what do you do?
That's so true. I used to think those things were so, alcohol's so expensive, but there's 99-cent bottles.
814.
9-cent bottles.
814.
Don't just sit there. Give them a call. 569-1080. Join the conversation. KOAN.
The traffic jam. A stifling halt to your thrilling drive. But in a redesigned 2015 Mercedes-Benz C-Class, that interruption is at least tolerable. With the most luxurious interior in its class and an innovative touchpad, the all-new 2015 C-Class is as exciting to experience standing still as it is in motion. And with its improved acceleration power, your state of comfort continues, knowing you'll make it to your destination on time. To your authorized dealer and see the world differently in a C-Class from Mercedes-Benz. Get the 2015 C300 4MATIC starting at just $40,400. Test drive one today.
MSRP for a 2015 C300 4MATIC excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
Pumpkins. Bell's has pumpkins. Boy, does Bell's have pumpkins for Halloween. Big ones, small ones, every size and type. And Bell's has gourds. Lots of gourds. And squash. Lots of squash. So whatever you have in mind for your Halloween display or for your jack-o'-lanterns, you need to make it out to Bell's Big Pumpkin Patch on Specking Road and also at Bell's on Cranberry Road. Don't forget See's Candies for your trick-or-treaters. See's has some wonderful Halloween candy. Slightly spooky, extremely tasty, so come and get it. In the gift shop, fabulous Riedel glassware, all wine glasses and Spiegelau beer glasses are 25% off. And every year, Bell's brings to the greenhouse the Great Zappy Silver Restoration event. This year, it'll be October 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Come talk with the Zappy artisans about restoring your silver, pewter, and brass by calling for an appointment at Bell's. 345-4476. Bell's Nurseries and Gifts at Halloween headquarters, Specking Road and Cranberry Road.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call. 5-6.
17 minutes past 8 o'clock in the a.m. Good morning to you. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Glen Biegel is a little bit under the weather today, so he'll be back on Monday.
You're all alone in there.
It's lonely. It's lonely in here. Hey, listen, if you need a new roof, whether you're a business, whether you're a homeowner, whether it's an industrial project, Earhart Roofing, they're the best in the state. It's without dispute. Frank and Becky Earhart, their son James, they've been in business 42 years, widely regarded as the premier roofing company in all of Alaska. And here's how you know that they do good work. Not only are they going to be the lowest bidder every time, but they're going to give you a 50-year warranty on their work. 50. In 25 years from now, your roof starts defecting or leaking, they're gonna come in and fix it for you for free. I mean, what more do you need to really know? Honestly, Earhart Roofing. Here's the number: 345-5555. 345-5555. Earhart Roofing. Our number here at the radio broadcast, 569-1080. 569-1080. I said yesterday on the broadcast, buddy, that so much harm is done under the guise of freedom. George Soros, who's a billionaire, he's a hard leftist, and I believe him to be an anarchist. The left, the only way the left could ever usurp their political philosophy on the public is if the public is so desperate it's willing to give up its freedom. That's really the only way, and the leftists know that. Hitler could have never taken over Germany and Austria without the economy in Germany being in ruins. They just couldn't. And because people don't want to give up their freedom, but if they want security and they want, comfort, and if there is no security and there is no comfort and there is no hope, then they're going to start to trade in their freedom for security and comfort. And that's how the left advances. Happens. That's the game.
I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't have nothing to hide. Go ahead, check me out.
Well, yeah, but my point is, our nation has to come to ruins economically before we're going to give away our freedom for security.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no jobs, if there are no jobs, there's no food, there's no way of getting food, then the left can come in and say, look, I'll help you. I'll give you everything you need, but you have to give me more control over your life. Mm-hmm. That's what the left does. And so anarchist, the hard left is dominated by a push for anarchy. Because when anarchy ensues, martial law will ensue, and then people give up their freedom. And that's how the left wins. So that's why George Soros is so big on promoting the legalization of drugs. Because the society must crumble before the left can take over. And nothing will bring a society to its knees. We're just talking about the homeless. Than a people that are dependent on vices like gambling, drugs, alcohol, pornography. You can go down the list. And George Soros is pumping $1 gazillion into the marijuana legislation, and he's doing it here in Alaska. He's a big donor to the legalized pot people here. So those of the libertarian people who say, oh, we're for freedom at all costs every time. You don't understand what's going on on the world. You don't understand that there's an anarchist movement that is designed to take away the very thing you say you're for, freedom. This is why libertarians are more dangerous than leftists, in my opinion, because they're a counterfeit liberty movement. They're really not about freedom.
So you think they're bragging about wanting the freedom and the liberty to do whatever they want, when really that will just lead to confusion and.
Well, it'll lead to when they're amoral on abortion.
Mm-hmm.
If we could rise up 50,000 feet in the air and look down on the corrosive impact the pro-death culture, the pro-abortion at all cost movement has on our society. It has so many different layers of destruction. And yet the libertarian people say, oh, we don't want to be involved in abortion, whatever a mother wants to do. If she wants to take the life of her baby, we shouldn't protect that baby. That's so corrosive to our culture. The idea that, well, we don't care if people want to get, on these hard marijuana. This idea that marijuana is not addictive, and yet everybody I know who smokes marijuana smokes it every day. Come on, stop insulting me. Stop it. That's ridiculous. So what the libertarians don't get is that the left wants our society to crumble so they don't trust people. And you know what? The left believes that's the right thing to do. George Soros, I guarantee you, thinks he's making the world a better place. as does Mark Begich, as does Barack Obama, because you can't trust people. You have to protect them from themselves, and the only way to do that is to rule over them. And they believe that. They're sincere. But they must be stopped, because tyranny always leads to a desperate ruler, an evil ruler. It always happens. As you centralize power, those who get more power turn more corrupt, because that's not the natural order of things. That's not the way God created the universe. God did not create the universe for us all to lose our freedom and have a few people rule over us. You remember the people of Israel in the Old Testament? They wanted a king. They came to God and said, God, we want a king. God said, no, you shouldn't have a king. I'm your king. We'll have a relationship. But the people insisted on having a king. And eventually God gave them a king, and it didn't work out. Mm-mm. And there are people who actually want a king here. They want to lose their freedom for security and comfort. But freedom is what makes life wonderful. Freedom is what makes life rich. Life is really not life without freedom.
And once you've tasted freedom, it should be so difficult to tear away.
Yep.
But if you were to take it in one big giant leap, it's very difficult. But when it just gets eroded away a little bit at a time, you don't notice it. You get used to the idea of a little bit less freedom here and a little bit less there, and eventually you've lost it.
The amount of money they take out of our paychecks, the amount of money they take out of our cell phone bill, the amount of money they take at the grocery store, the amount of money they take at the gas pump, it's trickle, 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 trickle. But all of a sudden, I'm working through middle May, and everything I've earned through then goes straight to the government in some tax. And we don't even see it. We don't even feel it. And I think you said it, or somebody said it the other day, that as long as they're taking our property taxes out of our mortgage.
Yes, I did say that.
You said that. As long as they're taking our income tax out of our paychecks, we don't even see what's happening to us.
I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday, or the other day, and she said, I think your idea about taking, instead of rolling it in with the mortgage, it should be law. It should be law that you have to pay it in one giant sum, or monthly at least, in a separate form of payment. She said, I make out a check $3,000 twice a year.
Yes.
$3,000 twice a year they do that because they chose not to put it in with their mortgage.
Yeah.
And she said, we can't,
hurts.
I mean, the normal person, and especially people on fixed incomes, my parents, it really hurts them when their taxes go up.
Think about your paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Think about if you had to write a check to the government every 2 weeks when you got paid. And
it would hurt a lot more.
Oh, think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the gal who's a secretary making $40,000 a year, and she has to actually write a check for whatever it would be. I don't know, what would it be, $500-600 a month, or $500-600 every paycheck? I don't know. I mean, they have to write that every time.
Right. It doesn't hurt as bad when you don't see it to begin with.
You don't get that.
Right.
And you start your new job, you see what you clear, that's your check.
Yes.
Right?
That's your take home.
What you have to understand.
Gross? What's gross?
Right. You actually earned a lot more than that.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's how they get away with it.
Yeah.
That's how they get away with it.
Yeah. Because you don't feel like you've earned that.
No.
And you're right, with the gas, it's the same thing. When you go to fill up your car, you don't realize that a lot of that is taxes.
Well, the government gets a bigger take per gallon than oil companies.
Right.
Yeah. And in California, man, I think it was like $1.10 per gallon state, plus the federal. It was unbelievable. I mean, everything was so taxed in California.
Well, let's get on that. We're going to make it law that you have to write your property taxes out separately. I think everybody would think about voting, for more taxes, a lot more.
I wonder if our next mayor would be ballsy enough to propose that.
Well, and
it would change the city.
Wasn't it the city of Anchorage where they would take out union dues automatically for the employee?
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Because, if you have to write that check out separately, you might be a little less willing to.
Oh, no, the union. No, I know teachers.
Be pro-union.
It just comes right out of their check.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they get you. You don't see it. Now, those who are self-employed, it's very different.
Yes.
569-1080, 569-1080. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Glen Biegel is off today. He will be back tomorrow. Our good friend Dr. Myron Swigert over at Chugach Chiropractic. He'll be on the show next week. We're looking forward to his visit.
I'll see him today.
Oh, you going out there?
I am.
Are you serious?
I am. 2:00.
Why didn't you tell me?
I just did.
I'm going out there Tuesday. What are you going out there for?
Just a checkup. I'm gonna go get a new patient exam.
And they know you're with the show and everything? You told them?
Yes.
Okay.
It was very difficult for me to do that, but yes.
No, that's good. Well, that's good. Well, we'll talk about it on Monday and see. I'm telling you, you're to learn something about yourself you didn't know before.
I usually do.
Chugach Chiropractic, they're the best. And Glenn has been to him for a long time. I've been going to him. Bonnie's going out today. Great folks. They really will help you live a pain-free life. Chugach Chiropractic. Give them a call. Make an appointment. It's 694-9224. 694-9224. All right, Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie, it's a Friday. How about that? 10th of October. Election a little over 3 weeks away. We'll be right back, folks. Stay with us. 8:29. We'll be right back, folks. Stay with us. 8:29.
Give him a call. 569-1080. KOAN.
Local news brought to you by Jansen Funeral Homes, Jansen's Evergreen Memorial Chapel, Jansen's Alaska Cremation Center, and Jansen's Eagle River Funeral Home. Jansen Funeral Homes, where just like family, they're there when you need them.
With KOAN News, I'm Ann Kenda. No charges will be filed in connection with a fight that broke out last month at a party attended by some members of former Governor Sarah Palin's family. Her oldest daughter, Bristol, was interviewed by police after the incident. The investigation is concluded with no charges to be filed. Supporters are calling for a review of the case against the so-called Fairbanks Four, in prison since 1997 for the beating death of 15-year-old John Hartman. Many Alaska natives say the men were wrongly accused due to racial prejudice. Bail has been set at $500,000 for the teenager accused of killing his foster father after he was grounded for using the synthetic drug Spice. Peter John Henry is accused in the death of public radio music host Marvell Johnson, who had served as a foster parent to more than 100 kids, and was described as having a heart for the teenage boys that no one else would take. That's your Hot Talk News Update.
Rain for today, high 43. Tonight, cloudy skies with a bit of rain, low 35. Tomorrow, cloudy with occasional rain, high 46. Tomorrow night, low 35. Mostly cloudy with some rain on Sunday, high 44. Monday, mostly cloudy, high 44. Tuesday, high 40. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Every Saturday, 5.1 and 1080 KOAN.
The Beer Show is brought to you every single week by Humpy's Great Alaska Nail House, Brown Jug Alaska, Great Artisan Beverages, and the Odom Corporation. Always drink responsibly.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
You often wake up with a headache, or grinding your teeth while you sleep may be to blame. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. Morning headaches, pain in the jawbone, food sensitivity. Those are common symptoms for someone who clenches their teeth or grinds them while they sleep. Since it occurs when you are, well, not awake, most people don't connect it as the root cause to those symptoms. It's important to identify and correct the problem before it causes major damage to your teeth. You see, teeth are like glass, so frequent grinding can create tiny stress fractures. Your dentist can help diagnose if you're a teeth grinder and offer solutions, like a custom mouth guard to break the habit. There's no one reason why people grind their teeth when they sleep, but studies show for adults it's likely linked to stress and anxiety. For kids, it's often associated with other pains, such as an earache. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Your local Health Mart pharmacy salutes caregivers everywhere. The ones who aid an aging parent or nurture a sick child. The fact is, we are all caregivers at different times. And your local Health Mart pharmacist is ready to go above and beyond to support you, with encouragement and expert guidance in good times and bad. Visit healthmart.com for the location near you. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. With one phone call, you'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information. It's a free service, so call now.
800-379-1174. 800-379-1174.
Trail Boss Solutions is your local award-winning, nationally recognized construction and remodel firm. From handyman services to kitchen design and remodel to custom home construction, Trail Boss Solutions has the experienced professionals to take your project from initial design through completion, on time and on budget. Trail Boss Solutions is the only call for all your construction, design, and remodel needs. Please visit us on the web at trailboss-solutions.com or contact Trail Boss Solutions Direct at 646-1403.
Why is A&A The Shop Alaska's independent Subaru specialist? How is it they've been voted the best shop in Anchorage not once but 6 times? Well, it's pretty simple. They offer the best warranty in the business. If they work on your Subaru, you're going to get a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on both parts and labor. That's unheard of. A&A The Shop deals exclusively with Subarus, and they also offer $35 oil changes. All their technicians are ASE certified. Call A&A The Shop for an appointment. 562-3919 in Anchorage and 696-2096 in Eagle River.
Here's my good friend, Keith Montronock.
Automotive repairs can be frustrating. Let me help. Call 349-1637. I have been in business for nearly 20 years at the same location. Specialty Truck and Auto is in South Anchorage behind the Long Branch Saloon where Diamond becomes Abbott. I have 6 ASE certified technicians working from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. I have a voucher for any of the 6 Alaska Laser Wash locations for each customer. If you schedule ahead and need a ride when you drop your vehicle off, I may be able to help. Call Specialty Truck and Auto, 349-1637.
Hot Talk, KOAN. Man.
Fagan and Biegel. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m.
8:35 in the morning. Dan Fagan here with Bonnie Cameron. Glen Biegel is out today. He will be back on Monday. Our telephone number, we'd love to hear from you. 569-1080. 569-1080. That's the number to reach the studio and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. We're open to whatever is on your mind and heart today. It's funny how Glenn hates it when I use the word heart.
I don't think he hates it.
Yes, he does.
He just hates it when you talk about, truth and
heart
and hope, all that crap.
All that junk. 569-1080. 569-1080. You can email me, danfaganshow@icloud.com. danfaganshow@icloud.com. If there's something you would like to bring to my attention, or we can put you on our mailing list, and every time we put out a clip or a news story or a new column, you'll get it in your email box, in your email machine. Time's 8:36, Friday the 10th of October. We made it to Friday. Congratulations on that. And let's go to Ray. Ray, you're on.
Hello, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Hey, I've followed you for, I guess, for want of a better word, since you were a cub reporter back there in Channel 2.
Yes, sir.
And I'll tell you what, when you shook the dust of your shoes off of them and became your own person, I believe you thrived. So kind of been following you off and on all those years. And I'll compliment your way. Down through the years, you've overwhelmingly had a talent for selecting some really smart golden voice females, co-hosts like Sharon and Juanita. And I submit to you that Bonnie is right up there with him.
Absolutely.
Can I breathe now?
You worried he was going to criticize
you? I was a little worried. Up until now, you.
Well, thank you, Ray. That means a lot.
Well, what a good, you really have a good mix there. Glenn, as far as I'm concerned, is as a Christian and credible and conservative with a capital C.
Yes.
And Brian gives you a little more juice on that program. So good grief, you guys got it going. But here's what I'd like to ask you.
Sure.
I don't know if you're an incurable optimist or not, but I know you referenced a guy named Dick Morris some time ago.
Yeah.
And you seem to have the unbelievable confidence that he has that Dan Sullivan is going to win by, walking away from it. And do you still have that feeling, first of all, that he's a double-digit winner over Begich? Because Mark Begich is frightening in more ways than one. Somehow they always come up with an October surprise.
No, and the media is going to do everything it can to help Begich. But I do. The one caveat, Ray, is that the Democrats have really mastered their ground game. We saw that with Obama in the last election. Begich has got 30 staff members per village, it seems like. And, we had with the Joe Miller election, when he lost to Lisa Murkowski, there was one village in which one person wrote in Lisa Murkowski 30 different times.
Oh.
Now, that's not illegal, because that one person brought the people to the polls, and they apparently couldn't write. And, so this is the kind of shenanigans you get on the ground with the Democrats. At all costs, we must win kind of mentality. So, yeah, that's the only caveat that I would think would maybe – I do believe Sullivan will win by probably 6 to 10 points.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, me too. But you never know, man. You got the media. You got they're going to try the surprise. Believe me. When the Dispatch endorses Begich and they keep hitting these, Amanda Coyne came out and swung pretty hard at Sullivan, although I think she's fair. But it's going to be interesting to see. We cannot survive without the Democrats out of control in the Senate. We've got to change that. Don't you agree?
Well, yes, but I've got to say this too. I'm a little older now. I'm from Glenn's parents' generation. I'd like to say the greatest generation, although I never fought in World War II. But
how old are you, Ray? Can I ask?
Oh, sure. I'm 78.
Oh, you're a young man.
Well, Bonnie's a young girl too.
Thank you.
But anyway, I think the demographics of the electorate are changing. I mean, people from my generation are really quite traditionally conservative, and we're dying off like flies.
Yeah.
And a long time ago, and I remember Nixon referring to the silent majority. Well, that's proven out to be a more apathetic majority than anything else, and along with low information voters, low information voters who are, they're kind of the type that fit a statement made a long time ago by a tent maker named Paul over 2,000 years ago, when he said that his generation consisted of people whose belly is their God and glory is their shame. And I don't know how we're going to be able to get past all of that when people are certainly, a lot of them are just trying to work hard to keep their nose above water, not paying attention to what's being said on behalf of the Democrats. And like in the case of Al Franken, the last one, and I've lived through the 2012, in which people like Dick Morris lost their reputation because they were so positive.
Yes.
Conservatives and Republicans going to win.
Yeah.
It seems like every time you come to a very close vote on election night, it seems as though they find the Democrats find another ballot box in the trunk or something. And
that actually did happen with Al Franken.
That's what I thought, if I remember correctly. So
let me. That's a great observation there, but as far as the younger generation, look, they've been indoctrinated in the public school system to believe everything that's opposite of what's true. Hollywood has tried to brainwash them. The media has tried to brainwash them. And I find that, yes, it's true. There's a vast majority of young people today who are basically sheep walking around believing something that's not true. But here's the thing that I've noticed. When you find a conservative or a kid of faith who's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, they are on fire for what they believe. And this is what gives me hope. the doctrine, the belief system that is leftism is built on lies. And once you realize that, once you see the truth, I believe that it causes something to erupt inside of you that is explosive, that can make you unstoppable as a human being. You know, we lived in America. I'm 54, you're 78. This leftism was not nearly as prevalent as it was when you grew up and when I grew up. But it's everywhere now. It dominates culture. The leftists control education, bureaucracy. They control everything. And when someone breaks through and sees that it's all a bunch of lies, they literally catch fire in their spirits, and they become so powerful. You go out and talk to some young college Republicans today. These people are so rabid and so determined to change their world, and they want to cut through all these lies that the left's bringing us. So that's what gives me hope, right?
Well, I certainly hope that you're right, because I think there's a lot riding on this election, not just here. And someone like Sean Parnell, I just think he's one of the most decent people I've ever met, and I think he's going the right way. But if we lose to Walker, and we also lose to Begich, we're in deep trouble. But it sounds like none of the talk show hosts that I listen and consider conservative during the day, they're all starting to back off the fact that it was going to be a landslide by the Republicans in the Senate this year. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, nationally, I can't. Yeah, you know, actually, I do think we're going to win the Senate. I think they're saying now it's coming down to Nebraska, with this one independent who might take the Republican seat. But I do believe we'll take the Senate back. I am very worried about Sean Parnell, though, and if you were to ask me honestly, I would say at this point I think he'll probably lose, which would be absolutely devastating. I think he's the best governor we ever had, literally. I'm not embellishing that. I honestly believe that. I got to run, though. We got to break here. But thanks, Ray. Great call.
All right, bye-bye.
Appreciate it. 8:44 is the time. I honestly believe that. I got to run, though. We got to break here. But thanks, Ray. Great call.
All right, bye-bye.
Appreciate it. 8:44 is the time.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
Parking space 105A. To many, it's just 130 square feet of publicly allotted tarmac, unless you own a 2014 Mercedes-Benz CLA. With its muscular, seductive look and distinctive diamond block grille, that parking space is transformed into a stage that showcases to others what groundbreaking style can be. And as you pull away, thanks to the turbocharged inline-4 engine, parking space 105A transforms again, this time into a launching pad. See the world differently. See it in a CLA from Mercedes-Benz, whose vehicles retain their value better than any other premium brand, according to ALG. Get the 2014 CLA 254 Matic starting at just $31,900.
MSRP for a 2014 CLA 254 Matic excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. Some equipment described as optional. See dealer for details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
Oh, it's a big weekend at Noosugayan City Market when the boatload of live Dungeness crab comes in from southeast Alaska. And Noosugayan City Market have just received one this week, a full boatload. So this weekend, the special is big and sweet and juicy Dungeness crab, clicking and a-clacking as they walk around sideways, of course, in the big crab tanks at Noosugayan City Market. Pick the one you want, and our loincloth-clad crab divers will rustle them out of the tank for you. The crab are only $9.99 a pound this weekend only, and both stores will cook them for you in their big crab cookers if you wish. In the butcher shops at Noosugayan City Market, the barbecue season isn't over yet, and they have great free-range chickens on special, just $2.09 a pound, a delicious and economical meal that everybody loves. $2.09 a pound at Noosugayan City Market. Have you had a chance to try Noosugaya's jumbo avocados? They are terrific. Great price, too, for these big boys. Jumbo avocados, 2 for just $5. Noosugayan Midtown, City Market, 13th and I.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
$8:47. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. Glen is off today. He'll be back on Monday. Our telephone number, 569-1080. 569-1080. We are broadcasting to you on KOAN, FM 95.1 in Anchorage, 1080 AM. If you're in Anchorage, I would recommend 95.1 FM, much stronger signal than, or just a more powerful signal than the AM. We're also out in the valley on KVNT, 92.5 FM, and also 1020 AM. And we're glad you found us. We've been on the air since June 30th. So this has been what? June, or it'll be July, August, September. 3 months and 10 days, approximately. Does it seem like that long, Bonnie?
And 3 hours and.
When did you join? When did you join the show?
At the end of July.
Oh, so we only did a month without you.
Pretty much.
Okay. I'm looking here at my schedule. You know, I always let's see. When were you a first guest? I don't see. I guess I didn't put your name down.
I think it was mid-July.
Mid-July is when you were a guest.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see it.
When I
here we go.
Come on and defend my
July
man.
7th. Alona Farr and Lance Pruitt.
And woman. I like Kathleen too.
and Bonnie Cameron, you were a guest that day.
Yes.
And then when did we bring you on full time?
I think it was around the 20th of July. I can't remember exactly.
So it took us 2 weeks to hire you, huh?
Well, it took 2 weeks for me to say yes. I like to think of it that way.
You told me the Monday after I asked. So who was the first guest? Mike Daniels, Lisa Reimers? Was that your first show?
No. Oh yeah. I think so.
We had Bill Walker on the week before that. Were you here when Bill Walker was here?
No.
Okay.
I've never met him.
So it must have been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we had Kathy Giesel and Cliff Grow, second day.
Yes.
Eddie Burke, Bob Griffin, you were here for them?
Yes. You guys were all talking about your weight.
Our weight? Oh, Eddie.
You and Eddie.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. So what do you like? What do you think? You enjoy doing the show? You having a good time?
I do. I love it. I'm learning a lot. Getting more comfortable for sure. I love talking with the people. I wish they would call more.
You need to tough it up a little bit. You're too worried about people criticizing you.
I do like it though when they call and they're like, Bonnie, you do this or that. You said this or that, and I get to defend myself. That's all right with me.
You were pretty worried about what Ray was going to say there.
I was. That was a little worry.
Well, he started out saying, Dan, you've had some great co-hosts, Sharon Layhouse, Juanita, and now you got Bonnie. And then
he said.
But he said that you were right up there with him.
That's a compliment, for sure.
All my co-hosts have been different. I think I've always had pretty good co-hosts.
I'll help you out here.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's not like I'm new with politics.
Right.
I've always stayed up to par with politics. I've always, been interested in them.
Yes.
Especially in the last probably 10 or 12, 14 years.
You are my most ideological co-host ever.
What does that mean?
You are committed to an ideology.
Yes.
You have
I don't
strong
apologize
beliefs.
for it.
Sharon was tough as nails, very funny, and she stood up to me better than anyone ever has. And that was her. San Juanita was just kind of, like she just was fun and didn't really know a lot. Like she thought Abraham Lincoln was president before Reagan. She didn't bring a lot of.
Technically.
She wasn't. She didn't bring a lot of it. Background information to the show, but she was fun and she was just a regular gal who would, if I'd say something, she'd say, "You're a racist," stuff like that.
Sure.
And so, and then we had Shannon, who was good. She was a lot of fun, and then I guess you. I'd say Juanita over on Elizabeth over on TV, but then you. But you're the one who has the most passion, and you really do know, your issues, and you have strong opinions about what you believe, and that's why I think it makes you so strong.
Well, and a lot of times I'll want to revisit a subject because I've had time to think about it, and I would love to come back the next day and follow up.
Well, the greatest compliment anyone has ever paid you is Glen Biegel's wife, where she said, "It just seems like you're always smiling," and it is true. And Glen and I are so hardcore and intense and barking dogs.
Yeah. Somebody's got to smile around here.
Right, exactly. And you bring a more, lighter kind of a more appealing approach. Do you agree with that assessment, Brian?
Yeah.
Until I want to stick you with a pin.
She helps with the cameras a lot too, so.
Oh.
I think that's why our videos that's at least 50%.
Are you saying Are you saying that?
It only works if you don't press it.
I'm just thinking people probably click on it when Bonnie's up on the screen.
You don't think I'm an attractive man, Brian?
No, I just give a lot of facial expression.
No,
You can
see, the women are for Dan. Yeah.
and totally, you can see what I'm thinking. You can tell what I'm thinking just by my facial expressions. I'm not good at withholding that. That's why you want to play poker with me.
I want to play poker with you because I want your money.
Well, technically it's your money, so.
Yeah, wait till the day after payday. Hey, Bonnie, I'm having a poker party at my house.
We'll do that. We'll actually fry it.
Yeah, I'll cash your check.
On paydays, we'll sit here and play poker after the show.
There you
go. I am loving it, though. It's fun.
Well, good. We're having a good time. And Glenn, Glenn's so much fun.
I get a kick out of him.
Well, he's funny. I didn't know he was funny. He's got this little quick wit about him. And, it doesn't always work. It works about 7 out of 10 times, but he just got that little wit.
Well, he's just so quick sometimes. We don't.
He is quick, yeah. And I was telling him this yesterday. I was driving him home because he wasn't feeling well, and like he said, I hope he doesn't mind me telling this, but
he will.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm fully aware of that. When he watches himself, which he rarely does, he says he cringes.
Oh yeah.
And he says
I do that too.
he says to himself, "Oh, I just think that's so bad." And I said to him, I said, "Glenn, your self evaluation process is broken because you're great on the radio.
Yeah.
You're incredible, the things you say." And he says, "Well, I just think it's terrible." And I don't get that. I don't
He's
understand.
so humble.
Well, I don't think that's humility. I don't think that's humility.
Self-deprecation.
Well, I don't know what it is because he's
I know
so
it well.
good. He's so good on the air. Sometimes I hear Glenn say things, I'm like, I just never thought of that before.
Right. He's always got something to say, too.
Always got something to say, and it's always amazing. And so I don't know what that is. I don't know, because I'm the complete opposite. I'll sit there, and I'll listen to myself, and I'll be, damn, that was good. Oh, man, I am good.
I'm going to make a clip of that.
Yeah, I know. And I got to hear that again. I got to hear myself say that again. That was really good.
See, maybe Glenn,
so pompous.
Glenn might have seen himself looking into the camera and decided no more.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with, a lot of the thing about me, and I don't know how this, when I talk, when I talk, I literally will say things I've never thought of before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm literally so on the spot. We're in the middle of a debate, and I'll say something, and then I'll go back and listen to it. Never thought of that before.
Yeah.
So stuff just comes out of me that sometimes it never even
That's why you don't have to take notes. See, I'm one of those people, which most people are, where you'll think about it later and say, oh, I should have said this or that. I should have said that. So, that's the way most people are. Most people don't have that gift. But I'm going to get better.
She just called you a genius.
569-1080. Tom, you're on.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tom.
This is just like sitting around in your living room. And,
isn't it?
And, and just kind of talking about the next subject that comes up.
Kind of a cozy little atmosphere.
Yeah, you just need a fireplace there in the studio.
Oh, that'd be nice. That's a good idea.
Crematory.
But, looking at this election coming up, like your last caller, and for me, at some point, you just can't afford it anymore.
Mm.
And I'm thinking about Gorbachev back in the 80s.
Yes.
Where he let Hungary go and he let Poland go and he let East Germany go because he just couldn't afford to support him anymore.
Yes.
And that's a lot like our government now. We're trying to support every liberal program that ever came along. Now, infrastructure, roads and things like that, I want to continue supporting, but I don't think we can afford to support every liberal program that ever came along. And we need to look at what's happened in history, like when when the USSR fell apart. Now, of course, Putin's trying to put it back together.
Yes.
But he doesn't have that much money.
No.
And he can't do it. And at some point, how much money can we throw at every problem until we say, everybody's kind of got to grow up and take care of themselves?
Well, let me ask you a question, Tom,
Sure.
because this kind of gives me hope. Let's look at you remember the scheme where you're going to fly people from Bush, Alaska, if they go to the shootout and you'll pay for their flight and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That pretty much illustrated that there's no such thing as no in government, right? I mean, if you'll do that, you'll say yes to everything.
Well, Dan, yesterday I was up in Fairbanks, flying down to Anchorage, and the plane was just packed coming from Fairbanks to Anchorage.
Yeah.
But it wasn't people going to Anchorage, it was people going to Kotzebue. Here was a whole bunch of sports people from Barrow going through Fairbanks to Anchorage, back to Kotzebue to play a basketball game. You know, and wait a minute, can we really afford to fill 737s full of people to go play basketball?
Yes.
And you know, and sure, when I was in grade school, we took a bus to various towns in Kansas to play basketball, but it was 13 miles away.
Well, the question I had for you, and we only got about 30 seconds, but is that what's going to happen? Like Margaret Thatcher said, we're going to run out of other people's money. Will that be the end of liberalism in America? And will we get back to conservatism and capitalism?
I think so.
Good.
We're finally just not going to have enough other people's money.
That's great.
To do all these programs.
Let it begin then.
And people like Mark Begich will have to just go away.
Yes. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, have a good day.
Have a great weekend, folks. Be back on Monday.
Every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on Hot Talk KOAN 95.1 FM 1080 AM.